Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. Welcome to the first midweek RGV Aerial Photography's deep dive into images that he captured on the ground this week at Starbase, Texas. We have Mauricio himself, plus Golden Boy, Grandpa Joe and Indian Star to guide us through all the latest updates, changes and theories from Starbase, Texas.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, wherever you're watching us from. My name is Mauricio. I'm a photographer. I've been documenting SpaceX Boca Chica site since 2018. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to pass it along to our next host here, Grandpa Joe.
Hey guys, it's Grandpa Joe, ready for an exciting week, reviewing all the pictures from Starbase with Mauricio and our next host, Golden Boy.
Sounded like you almost forgot my name there for a second.
I couldn't decide which one to use. You have so many.
Golden Boy's fine. I also go by Zach. If you guys aren't familiar with me, I usually go by Golden Boy in the YouTube chats, but on Twitter I go by Zach or CSI Starbase. But just to clear up on that, CSI Starbase is not just me; it's a whole team of people. Grandpa Joe being one of them, and another person on that team is Mauricio. He doesn't know about that actually, but I tend to hack into his equipment whenever I get the chance and just start stealing images because it helps me with my investigations most days. But the third member here that's also on the CSI Starbase team would be Indian Star. Indian Star, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I'm Indian Star. And by hack into his machines, you mean the links that he gives you with his full knowledge that you're getting his photos, of course, right?
No, I actually get them live as he's taking them.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
Yeah.
I knew you were special.
It's okay. He doesn't know, but, well, I guess now he does. Anyways.
I won't tell him.
I just have access to a cell phone, so that's how I get them.
That's probably why my camera's been acting up lately.
So we were kind of hoping you were gonna. We had our fingers crossed today. I think a lot of people want to hear whether or not there was a flyover today. like we kind of had our fingers crossed this morning. We were watching out for the weather, but didn't work out today, huh, Mauricio?
Yeah, you said whether or not the weather cooperated, right?
Yeah, man,
But
and it did not.
so the weather's been it hasn't been in our favor these past few weeks. It's not that simple as, oh look, it's sunny out there, let's get on the airplane and let's do the flyover. You know, there's a process that goes into this. We have to schedule with the pilot. The pilot has to be available, first of all, and then the aircraft has to be available at that particular moment. So we have to book usually 2 or 3 days beforehand just so that we can get a good day. So, you know, it's one of those things where you don't want to book on a 50% cloudy day just because, you know, so it's happened where we go out there when it's cloudy and we pretty much waste, you know, the rental money on a flight that we don't get any images from. So, you know, hopefully we have some good luck. We tried doing it today again, but it rained. As I was leaving the site, it rained, so that was out of the question. So we're just gonna have to play by ear and hopefully the weather cooperates in the next couple of days. I'm thinking over the weekend might be a good chance. I'm still waiting to hear back if, you know, anybody's gonna be able to fly me out on a Sunday, you know.
Yeah, it's tough. I imagine Sundays are probably the least likely day for pretty much everyone, especially in that part of Texas. I remember when I was working in the oil and gas industry, we really struggled to get anybody to do anything on Sundays. I think there's just like a very high Catholic population down there, so people are very likely to take off on Sunday if they're able to. But you know, I got my fingers crossed that you're able to do it on Sunday.
And if
I'm all
not,
in.
yeah, and even if we can't do it on Sunday, I already booked another flight for next week, so I'm hoping we can. That would be on the 2nd of February, but it's too for me. It's too far away. It's already been a while since the last one. The last flyover I did was on the 20. What is it? Does anybody know? It was on the 14th, I think.
Actually, I may have that
Yeah,
right here.
yeah, it was on a Friday.
Mhm.
Managing the schedules looks like
I
it's
think it
a
was a
full-time
Thursday.
job alone.
Yeah, it was the 14th. It's been a
That's
while. They've
14.
probably been able to hide a lot of stuff from us in that time.
They
Right.
happen for sure.
And
Because
for
we
those
keep
that
seeing
don't
things
know,
appear.
yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Indy, sorry, interrupted
No,
you
no, no,
there.
please, please. I was just saying we keep seeing things appear out of nowhere. That's how come we know they're hiding stuff from us.
Yes, I mean, I won't go into that right now, but so these photos, so these photos were taken yesterday, the ones we're gonna be looking at right now, and you know, I already posted these for the members, for the YouTube members, so you can
Thank you
follow
for
along
that.
with us. And I'll upload the photos that I took today. I'm actually editing the photos right now. They're exporting out, so maybe throughout this episode we might get a sneak peek into the ones I took today, but I'll post those immediately here shortly after to the YouTube members as well.
Hooray! I get him
Awesome.
first.
Well, we already got him right here. Well, with that, I guess we should hop in. And as always, you guys, we tend to start off slow, and you know, we like to go through pretty much every picture that Mauricio takes during the day, especially when he's doing ground photos, because it's a lot easier to just work from one side of the building or one side of the site to the other. So that's what we're going to do today. You know, I do prefer to go through and remove images from time to time if there's not things that show any updates. But, you know, I also got a full-time job, so I wasn't able to do that this time. So, you know, if I skip through a few pictures kind of fast, just know that that's the reason why, because I don't think there's anything that you haven't seen there before. But if you guys have any questions about any of the things that we're passing by, let us know in the chat. And I think, do we have a question about setup?
I
No
believe
question
so.
bot this time. No, it's going to
I
be
thought it was.
manual. Oh. Let's test it out.
Yeah, let's test it out. Only one
You know how to
person.
ask.
Let's not all bombard. I think, who's a trusty person? Stephanie Ball, how about you try out a question with
By putting a question mark in front of her question and typing
no, I think
question
you
mark
put
question?
quotation mark and then the word question.
I think it's an exclamation point.
That
I think
too.
it is an
We'll try that.
exclamation point.
You guys, I'm not
These
very good with
boys, man, they keep
punctuations.
trying to fight me. I keep telling him, trust me, trust me.
Yeah, I should have let you
Trust
handle
me.
that one. I apologize. Anyways, we'll get it. Oh, question test from Astro Joe. I guess he thinks he's Stephanie. So
Thank you, Stephanie
let's
Joe.
hop in here. Also, just so you guys know, we got a super chat from Donald, #1 fan. Wow, that's a tough statement right there. I don't know if people are gonna just accept that as you assigning yourself as a #1 fan, but I appreciate it. And you know what? I think RGV does, Mauricio does, and the rest of the team does as well. And Donald, thank you for being here. Longtime supporter of RGV and Lab Padre as well. So good to see you here.
And Ground Truth, we want to thank him
Ground
as well.
Truth. Yeah, $5 before we even started. That's faith right there.
That's a
Thank
good
you,
way
man.
to start an episode.
I know, right? You guys are the best. I think this is going to work out.
They're so excited to hear you, GPJ.
I see Liam Robbins is asking how long this is going to go for. I think he has a date.
Oh,
I don't know, Liam. We'll see. We'll see what we could do.
and bring your
just let us know.
friends
Just let us.
over.
Yeah, let us know when you got to go, and then we'll just base it off of that.
Chicks dig rockets. That's all I'm saying.
Well, she's probably not here right now, so
That's what I'm saying. Bring her
let's
in.
get in there for him and get to the
Zach,
good stuff.
Before you even get past that first picture, there's something I wanted to talk about briefly from the distance, if you could go back one. So right here, you'll notice all of Boca Chica is built on a coastal brackish water wetlands. There's a lot of soft sand, mud, dirt, bedrock's pretty far down. And as you can see, when it rains, it's very flat. It floods. It's there's a lot of water intrusion there. While I was down there, they had a lot of trucks manually pumping water out of the roadway to get it off into the marsh. And building on this kind of terrain is very tough. So it could be the cause of a lot of concrete rework. It could be a cause of a lot of issues, both with the roadway, with the build site, and if they don't put pilings deep enough, it could be a problem with the launch site. Of course, Starbase and SpaceX have a lot of great concrete engineers, so civil engineers. And so it's just a challenge and something that I think this picture highlights pretty well, the kind of environment they're working in. But with launching rockets, the best place to launch a rocket is right on the beach, right on the coast, and this is the kind of environment you got to get used to working in.
Yeah, I agree. I actually was just searching for a picture that I took the first time I went down there. I showed up during the middle. I've told the story before, so those of you who have listened to our previous shows, I've talked about this before. And I went down there in May of 2021, and I got down there when they were basically in the middle of a rainstorm. So I kind of braved the elements in order to get down to the site and hopefully, be able to at least see something the first day I got down there, because I didn't want to just wait until the second day to go down. And I actually witnessed tons of pumps on the side of the road just pumping out all of the water. This actually may be not on my phone right now, or on my computer. I'm not sure if I have this video anymore. It might actually be a phone video, but we'll see if we can find it. In the meantime, Grandpa Joe, was there anything else you wanted to say about this one before we continue on?
Oh, just admiring how quickly the Widebay is going up. That thing is, it continues to grow like a little mushroom.
So
Especially when they keep us in the dark.
I disagree with that to some degree, because they've had a lot of weather delays this week. So yeah. I'm pretty sure that most of the fourth section would be ready to go right now, if not for the fact that they have all this rain and high wind. So luckily, they've still been able to add all of the paneling that goes up in between each section. They've still been able to lift those smaller pieces, but lifting these corners in the wind is definitely not a good idea. I think we'll see some good ground images that show exactly how far they are with those. And I don't know. Usually they have one that's complete and one that's about to be complete. And you can kind of see that, the next day they'll be ready to lift this one. I have a feeling that at least 2 or 3 of them are fully ready to go right now, and they're just basically waiting for the wind to die down to lift them. So,
And how high are we going? Do you know?
well, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get Elon on the show this episode. He said he had some other stuff that he was attending to today.
This time.
That was one of the things we were going to talk about. But as far as we know, we're thinking it's around 100 meters. But allegedly 100 meters.
Allegedly,
I'll say,
right.
yeah.
And each one of those sections is 2 levels, right?
Yes, they are. And this is an image we've kind of seen before. I'm going to skip through that. Getting a little closer to the high bay, like I was saying, or the wide bay. These are, you can kind of see right here, actually. They've got the horizontal supports going all the way up the building, and they have to add those in one by one. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that they're still missing on this side. We may be able to see the other side in a little bit and see how much they're missing on that side. But the moment that all of these are added in and all of the bolts that secure them down are tightened up and in place, they're usually ready to start installing the next level. And one thing that you will notice on every level from here on is these scaffolds that they have pre-mounted on the top of each corner. So this allows them to basically stand up there and access the columns right here in order to not have to use man baskets, be walking or waving around in the wind on man baskets trying to add all these bolts in there. They actually have a walkway on each of the corners that allows them to kind of get closer to like a typical tower construction job where you have scaffolding up over the place. This is pretty far away from a typical construction site, but that's about as close as you're going to get to a normal tower build job right there.
And how long were you saying that it roughly takes per section? Because Peanut was noting that it takes about 2 weeks for every level.
I would say it takes about a week and a half. It's the 2 weeks average right now is mostly due to weather delays, in my opinion. I think that if the weather was perfect, they would be doing 1 level per week.
I think the thing I find most interesting about this, it gets easy to get lost in the awe of how big all of this is. But every piece of this was made by a man. Every piece of this was, hand bolted, wrench turned, pneumatic gun. It's really amazing just how much, people can do when they put their mind to it.
Because you know why, GPJ, right?
What's that?
America,
that's right.
And it looks like we have a special guest in the audience. Maria Pointer showed up. Thank you, Maria, for joining us. For those of you who don't know, Maria Pointer is often referred to as the first neighbor. If you ever go and look up the oldest possible Starbase videos you can find, they're probably all going to be from her. She was the original photographer, down in Starbase. So thank you for joining us, Maria. Means a lot to see you here for sure. Oops, kind of zoomed out a little bit far there. Apologies.
Oh, look who's here.
All right, let's move on.
Do you want to ask a couple of questions from YouTube, Indian Star?
I was going to, but I thought it might be too soon because we're generally going to get to that area last time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I was hesitating with. Or waiting for.
Okay.
Hey guys, just to give you guys an idea of how big these structures are, the orbital tower is one of the tallest structures. Actually, I think it is one of the tallest structures in South Texas. I would probably have to say south of Corpus Christi, possibly. So that's a pretty big,
Area.
Yep.
Yeah, it's huge. And so along those same lines, there was a question, because GPJ is so good about that, asking those questions. With the recent release of the building plans at the Cape, will much of the visibility start to become more limited in the future? Or will Starbase always be the main development hub? What do you guys think?
I think that the Starbase is going to remain the main development hub. The engines are going to continue to be developed in Hawthorne, California. They'll be mass-produced in McGregor. But the first articles for flight, I believe, are going to originate from Starbase, with the exception of some variants, such as HLS. I believe HLS will be launched primarily from the Cape. And because that's NASA's pad, they have a little bit more control over the schedule there. and they can rank the importance and allow it to fly. But I think that most of the tanker and the Starlink base ships are going to be produced and flown from here. Now, in the future, of course, there may be other flight locations, but this is going to be the main development hub.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah, on that note, it kind of seems like this is the Hawthorne of starships, right? So like you have
Right.
Hawthorne for developing engines, and then you would have McGregor for mass producing them. So this would be your development center essentially for starships, where potentially KSC might actually be the manufacturing hub potentially.
Oh, wow. Look at you, supply chain manager.
Yeah, but this is all speculation, and until we get Elon to clear a schedule for us, we're not going
When
to
we
really
get
know this for
Elon,
sure.
you mean? When we
Yeah,
get him, right?
when he clears the show, when he clears
Totally.
the schedule for us.
Makes total sense. There was a question about this Widebay. The question is from Joe Anonymous. He's asking, how big is that railing? Will the crane man lift to those railing levels?
The railing, if he's talking about the top of the scaffolding, I'm assuming that's about the height of like chest level. Usually, I feel a kid is going to yell at me, but I think these have to be 40 inches, 40 to 42 inches tall, and that's a guess. But yeah, it's probably around that. It's a standard height for most scaffolding usually.
And PK would never
And
yell at you. He loves
yeah,
you.
but I'm gonna ignore the chat right now just in case he does. So.
Don't worry, I'll tell you if he yells.
So one thing that was actually really funny about this trip that Mauricio took to Starbase is that a lot of people don't know that. First of all, that Lab Padre has 8 camera views, but my personal favorite one is Raptor Roost Cam, which actually looks directly at this area. So when I was kind of watching Raptor Roost, and I had no idea Mauricio was down there. And I saw them preparing to lift this thing up into the air, which, by the way, interesting rigging job, guys. That's just amazing.
Right?
Yeah, I love it.
Looks like a pirate
And
ship.
also, Grover is my favorite crane. So Grover doing weird things like this is really awesome. I'm assuming there's probably something on the bottom side of this that's going to make it so they're lifting it up this way. But I think we'll find out a little bit more about that soon. But yeah, it's just funny because I think I was probably looking on Raptor Roost camera the moment Mauricio was driving by and saw this, but we actually tandem captured some pretty good photos of this. Actually, he got the photos, I got the video, and I'm not gonna put the video up now, but I will definitely get to see his photos, which are far exceed the quality of the images that I had gotten. So
we're
continuing
looking
on.
at the yep.
Yeah, I didn't see anything
No
new there.
change
Sorry.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
when do you
this
think
is
they're gonna put those
SN2,
up? Okay.
right? Is it
Yep.
SN2?
Not
Yes.
4 point.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, this used to be behind or right in front of the low bay, or the tent that's used for stacking Starship nose cones. Well, about a month ago, they actually severed all of the rebar that was underground, or sorry, connecting this to the base of the mount, or the concrete base, and they just lifted the whole thing up on SPMTs and transported it over here, and they moved the tank with it shortly after. So we don't really know what this is for yet. It's basically a GSE tank, and I'm noticing right now it has an inlet coming from the ground up to here. Wow. That would, I don't know if there's enough pressure in the ground to naturally push well water up into here, but I could totally see this being some sort of water treatment facility, given all of this equipment that's being set up right next to it. This is the first time I've ever had that theory, though, so I may have to look more into what this equipment is before I go ahead and say that publicly. So you guys don't tell anybody that I said that until we verify this information.
We won't tell anyone it's on the down low, my friend.
Have we verified that that pipe is brand new and hasn't been there before?
I
don't
mean,
remember
this whole
it.
tank is brand new. The whole location for it is brand new. You mean
Right.
the actual outlet for it?
Yeah. Or inlet.
Could be both.
Yeah, we can go check later, but I don't remember seeing that one before. So it may be new. And if it is, well, it must be going to something like either well water or, I doubt gas, but.
And PK to the rescue came into the chat and said OLIT is the 31st tallest building in Texas.
Yeah, but what about South Texas? You got to ask Siri again and tell us what she says.
He's an
And
Alexa
also,
man, of course.
we need to know what the standard height is for those scaffolding. PK, thank you very much. Appreciate your time
Right.
and service.
The two tallest buildings in South Texas are, there's one in McAllen, Texas. That one's the Chase Tower for the locals that know the area. And then there's another one, the Sapphire, which I think Grandpa Joe said it was about 400 feet tall. And so so this has to be
I've
one
heard
of the
that the
tallest.
Sapphire is, I've heard the Sapphire and the tower are just about the same height. But I don't have Wikipedia in front of me.
No, but we don't need PK either because we have Mauricio.
That's right.
Wikipedia tends to lie. I was going to say PK. Luckily, I
Oh,
corrected
PK
myself.
never does.
No, he doesn't.
that was a
Wikipedia
skip.
lies. So these pieces of equipment right here are actually something that's familiar to me. Typically, this actually looks like a different version of what we call a sandex, which would be if you're pulling water out of ground, especially if it's coming out of a well where you're putting a lot of sand down into the well. Once you pull the water back up to surface, you would want to filter out all of the sand before you put it into a tank like this. So this could be the tanks that they're using to do that, and this right here would be an auger that turns around in circles at the bottom of the tank and slowly removes the sand and tries to keep it mostly water in there before they transfer it over. Again, don't quote that.
No, you're probably right because they've done this before when they were doing OLIT. They had this machine, it looks like, same color and all that stuff, doing the same thing you're talking about. And they had like this goopy mud on the side of it. And it used to be where it was either where OLIT is now or it was just to the left of it. I remember PK and Dave know what I'm talking about. I know they do. Mauser might too. But I'm pretty sure you're right then because that's pretty much what the machine looked like. GPJ, do you remember?
I think he actually, his mic died. Oh, he's
My
back.
mic died, but I'm back. Does that
Wow,
sound
why does it
better?
sound so much better now?
Because he's GPJ.
My good microphone died and it defaulted to my headset mic, which is terrible. But
Actually, it sounds
sorry,
really
what?
good.
Thank you. No, this is the good mic. I got it back. So what was the question, Andy? And stuff?
Remember the machine that used to take out the water from the mud back when they were building OLIT? Didn't it look like this brown and gray thing that's right here? And there used to, when it was back where OLIT is, it had brown sludge.
Yeah, and it would pump out the brown sludge. Yeah.
Yeah, you remember? It was it was really gross. I know, really gross.
I see a lot of those on the dredgers, so that could be part of the same system.
So Golden Boy, I think you're right.
Well, one thing that we should also consider here is that number one, they're doing a ton of groundwork back here. I've kind of been watching them over the last week. They're digging a lot of trenches in the backside area over here of Sanchez. So, apologies. So one of the things that's necessary when you're keeping a structure like this stored back here is you have to keep it pressurized. So while this does look like a water tank to me, it still has the vents that are required for. Oh, there's no valves on them. Never mind. What I was going to say is this could be related to holding liquid nitrogen, and maybe with these braces on it, they're actually going to put a cover over this thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if they put a cover over the top of it, and then fill it up with perlite in order to hold liquid nitrogen on site, because they're actually producing it just a few hundred feet away. You could store liquid nitrogen in here, and then you could actually bleed off your pressure from the top of it and send that to all the staging pads for each of these, or each of the boosters that you have, because Elon likes lawn ornaments. So if you're going to store lawn ornaments, you got to have pressure. You got to have pressure in order to store them. So that's another option for what this is. But like I said, don't quote any of them, because it's all allegations at this point.
Speculation, my friend. That's what we're about sometimes. Actually, that's what it is, right? At the end of the day, none of us know what the plans are. So speculation is the name of the game.
Yeah. Speculation.
Yeah. Did you see who else has joined you in the chat, sir?
I did not.
Marcus House is here.
Oh, hey. Hey. It's Marcus House.
Marcus House.
Thank you for
I'm not
joining us,
even
Marcus. Appreciate you being here, sir.
I was
Yeah,
just messaging with him right now.
We got the whole team space, or not the whole team space, but they're gathering.
I
Thank you
beg
guys for
one of
being
them.
here. Appreciate you.
Gruck is here. Brenton is here.
Yeah, it's
one big
gonna be
happy
a good
family.
night. And I am going to continue scrolling through these images, because we got some good stuff coming up.
Dude, we've had good stuff all the way through so far. It's going to get better. I'm so excited.
If
Oh, look at
anybody-
that. That is so cool. Look
If
at that.
anybody is
The
able
lettering.
to take the Starbase logo, not the logo, sorry, the Starbase sign at night when it's lit up, and make it look like it says CSI Starbase, I might just have $50 for you.
Oh, there might be an invite in your future.
Hit me with a DM on Twitter if you're able to pull it off and make it look like it's legit. We can exchange Venmos, and you'll be
Wait,
my
is that
new
true for
logo.
anybody? Can anybody come up with an image that
If
you might like?
anybody is gonna send me ESI Starbase lit up and make it look real, $50.
You and your Gwen Shotwell?
No.
Well, now they're going to have
just
to
need a
beat
logo.
me. Now they're going to have to beat me and my elite Photoshop skills to it. If
Your
I don't
skills
do
are beyond. You're
if I don't
quite the
do Grandpa
Photoshop man.
Joe 42 first.
It's probably gonna be somebody who's rendering it in 3D. Honestly, Photoshop is not gonna get it done.
Oh, denied, GPJ. Denied. No
Gotta-
check for you.
We'll see. I've seen some really good renders that actually are able to make it look like they're LEDs and whatnot. Tough to do in Photoshop, but like I said, whoever gets to it first, game on.
Does anyone
Oh,
want to move down to Boca Chica? They got some land for sale.
It's not Widebay that's for sale?
I don't think Widebay's for sale. No, somebody is holding out and does not want to sell to SpaceX, and they've got a corner lot right by the Sanchez site.
Where would you put your bedroom window?
Ooh, I think I would aim it towards the launch site. That way I could get the glass right in the bedroom on launch day.
I would
leave the windows open.
I would aim my bedroom window at least a half a mile away from here, I think. I would not want to be living close to this.
Yeah.
So has anybody heard? Hey guys, has anybody heard any more news about the resort that they were supposed to in the works at Starbase, or is that something that
is that true?
Forgot about? I mean, Elon did tweet about that a while back. I don't know if you guys remember.
They've had jobs listed on their website in the past for Starbase Resort. I don't remember the official title of it, but it was a resort.
True resort, or we can book rooms.
So the position was for somebody who would take charge of planning out the actual resort. So what that means, we don't really know, but that's just a position that was listed online. And I also haven't checked in a long time because I don't really want to work at SpaceX, so I stopped looking at their jobs about 6 months ago. But last time I was on there, they had that available. So if they filled it, then maybe it's in the works. But things like that. If the job posting was 6 months ago, it's still probably in the planning stage. So
I'll also add in that SpaceX management really values their workers' comfort and happiness in some ways. I mean, they work them to death, don't get me wrong.
Literally.
But they also offer on-site food and services for many staff, especially the engineers. So, they do pride themselves on that. And in order to source that, they are hiring resort style positions, and it may be used just now for the workers on site, but in the future it may be for other investors, personnel they're trying to hire on, or just people visiting. We'll see.
Okay. And I just noticed a question from Maria Pointer, who always asks great questions. And I just may happen to be one of the perfect people to answer this, in my opinion. So her question was, storm drains are being stockpiled on San Martin Boulevard. Do you think these trenches are to appease the environment and park warden for fresh water runoff, or the back bay? So, one of the things that a lot of companies are facing, well, every company is facing right now, is supply chain shortages. And SpaceX has a very, very large team of supply chain managers. And one of the things that you're going to do, if you have the capital available to do it, is purchase things before they're needed. And in the case of something like drainage, so to start off, the drains that are typically used for most gutter systems are all cast in concrete. And the United States is getting ready to start a rather large infrastructure project that pretty much stretches across the entire country. So if you know that something's like that is about to happen and you're an actual, semi-decent supply chain manager, you're going to try and source everything that results in requires concrete 6 months to 12 months ahead of time. So anything you see made of concrete, whether it's culverts or pipework for gutters, that's, in my opinion, why they stockpile that stuff, because they know that they're going to be in short supply here soon.
I have a feeling that if I was Elon, I would have bought a concrete company early on. As much as they're using, it might have been a wise investment.
You never know.
And
They may already have, just quietly.
there was a question from One Ray Gun asking, are there fewer workers at Starbase since FAA extension, or are they still going full bore?
I've heard that they've gone from 3 shifts down to 2, and that they have less workers overall on site. They've cut some of the contract surge workers. So it sounds like the answer to that is yes, though that's not 100% confirmed. It does appear that way. Also, you'll notice that they have less trucks and cars out at the launch site and build site during the day. So it looks like, yeah, they have cut back on staff somewhat. I have no doubt they will surge again right as they get the approvals and everything is lining up, both on the design and operation side, to allow a launch.
Makes sense. GB, are these methane tanks?
These are liquid nitrogen tanks.
Do we have
So-
any shots of methane tanks, perchance? Steelwind was asking.
This is the air separation plant, so they only do liquid nitrogen and oxygen here. But one thing that I wanted to say, and then we can get to his question in a second, this kind of addresses that a little bit. So when these first showed up, they were labeled as liquid nitrogen tanks, and they also still kind of are. So there is a possibility that the other 2 large tanks that are over here may actually be for liquid, or at least one of them potentially for liquid oxygen, while these 2 are for liquid nitrogen, which is produced in higher volumes. The problem is these can also be switched back and forth if they need to on demand. So while they are labeled liquid nitrogen, they potentially could just purge everything and use it for liquid oxygen. But I'm going to reserve some crow for myself and say that there's a total possibility that this small tank, actually no, they're not preparing ground over here right now. So I don't think that those tanks are going to go over here. It doesn't look
I
like
see
they're
no
preparing ground.
preparation.
The one-
There is some preparation over at the launch facility, but none here. And the requirements for a liquid oxygen and a liquid nitrogen tank are very close, so they are completely interchangeable. They have the same density, and neither one explodes in general, so you can pretty much use one tank for the other.
Good.
Yeah.
No explosions are better.
Right.
Make everything good.
One thing I'm noticing over here actually is, wow. So most of these pipes are actually is still exposed as far as the joints right here. So usually if this site was fully commissioned, they would be fully insulated. And another thing I'm noticing is all of this frost down here.
Ooh.
Wow.
So to me, this kind of looks like where they would load liquid oxygen from. And potentially with this vaporizer back here, I don't know if it works in reverse like this or not, but if this was a gaseous oxygen tank, they could fill this up and then liquefy it on demand before they load it onto tankers.
Wow.
So that is one possibility, but I don't see a compressor back here. I just see this heat exchanger essentially. So Dave Avery's
d-
going to murder me in the chat.
Do you think that they'll put the surrounding, what did you call it? The stuff that's covering the pipes, the coverings, whatever?
When the facility is done, when it's actually fully commissioned, again, this is another example of how most things around the SpaceX property are not fully commissioned. They may be operational, but they're actually not commissioned, or else they would. They plan on making changes, or else this would not look like it does right now, in my opinion.
And so once commissioned, they cannot make changes until they decommission it?
I don't know.
Well, they'd
I've
have
never-
to they'd have to recommission it
Right.
after they're making changes, but
But you have to decommission it to be able to recommission it, no?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Decommissioning is when you're taking something out of service forever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I wasn't sure.
And before we get into the good stuff, we're getting close to what a lot of you came here for, I think. Actually, hopefully you guys mostly just came here to hear us talk. But before we get to what the clickbait was, and it's not really clickbait, it's actually something that I personally have never seen very close up. But if you guys haven't liked the stream already, please go ahead and do so. Every like definitely makes a big difference. If people aren't able to donate, likes are equally valuable for us. So thank you so much for being here. And if you guys enjoy this content, also consider sharing it to your friends or subscribing to the channel and also becoming a member so that your name will show up green in the chat. And
I did.
Yeah, finally.
too.
And
We'll
thank
see
you for
who's
the
going to get in
reminder.
here today. One sec.
For the like. I really appreciate it. I had forgotten, so thank you for that reminder. I just did it myself. I like it. Good job, guys. All right, this happens a lot to me. I'll start talking, and then they all become quiet. Why are you all quiet?
sorry, I had to find that like button. I couldn't couldn't get my mouse up there.
Quiet because I'm uploading the photos I took today to the members right now.
I like how you all have your excuses ready. I'll give you points for those.
Mauricio is literally building content while he's installing the engine while the plane is flying.
He's a Lego super builder. What are they called? They called a Lego. Never mind. I hate being old.
Oh, and just one note: if you are thinking about donating, Patreon is usually the quicker and more efficient way. They take less money. YouTube tends to take a good percentage. So if you want to consider the efficiency of your donation, to keep Mauricio flying and not to keep the Google execs flying. We no, I mean I'm sure they take great pleasure in it too. All right.
Right. I
wanna go to
upload
the
more
next
on
one?
Patreon, by the way. There's also
Yeah.
that.
Love Patreon. I've been a member for 2 years, which I
All
hope
right.
is a long time.
It's forever in
All
internet
right.
years.
Sorry, guys. I had to answer a call from one of my informants letting me know that a large
Ooh.
piece of equipment was headed to Starbase, right?
You mean you met with Deep
Oh.
Throat?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, never mind.
He
You're
was-
too young.
That's terrible, Indian stuff.
Sound like you're. I was about to say sounds like you're a detective, but I guess you were, right?
I'm
CSI
CSI
Starbase.
Starbase, but it's
Yes. You made it seem like
a rather
like it
new
was a-
thing. I don't go all the way back to the 80s.
Oh, what do you mean all the way back to the 80s? That was like a hop,
Before I
skip, and
was
a jump.
So it's all the
Stop
way
it.
back.
All right, well, I guess I was too young.
1991, baby.
Are you serious?
I'm 31 years old. Yes, I'm very serious.
Well, I didn't realize how long it had been since I graduated high school. Thank you so much for that.
Well, all the millennials.
I didn't call you out.
all the millennials will remind us that we were born in the 1900s.
Oh,
Oh, I
wow.
know.
That's a
Don't you
whole
feel
other.
old?
Yep. Now I do. Thank you, Jen, so much. I love hanging out with you.
Well, continuing on. So this is one of the greatest things that I've seen in a long time. And like I said, Mauricio really showed up just at the right time. So I'm super glad that he got these images. And I'm going to get to the next one because, oh my good.
Oh, wow.
This
What
is,
a great shot.
I
And
love
you know
this.
what?
let's expand it out in all its glory first.
I
Well,
mean, let's
let me
do it.
let me explain to you
Behold.
how I got this shot, Zach. I was about to pass the street and head over to the launch site, but I saw this thing. I saw B2.1 flying up in the air. I'm like, let me get a shot of that before I go over there. And this thing lasted about less than 5 minutes up in the air. So if I would have done something else, I would have missed it, you know?
Yeah, and the crazy part is I'm not going to show it right now because I don't want it to mess up the. I finally got this to full screen properly without having the taskbar up top. But you know, I actually was able to get a good video of them lifting this as they took it off the stand, and I had no idea you were standing right underneath it at the time. But this is really amazing. I mean, I think that we've seen these RVAC mounts close up. Actually, you know what? We'll take a second to kind of explain what this is for the people who don't know. And I apologize for zooming out again. So what this tank is, okay. I'm gonna have to
Operator.
close out of something really quick because it's dragging me down.
Hit escape. Just hit
There we
escape.
go. All right. So what this is what was first named by Thomas, who is a commentator for Live Padre, the mongrel. And the reason why they call it the mongrel is because you have the aft dome of a starship with the
This is so
six
cool.
center engine mounts the 3 center engine mounts and the 3 RVAC mounts. And that is attached to a aft dome of a booster, which I swear this is the closest we've ever seen this. This is amazing.
Mhm.
These
This is
are
amazing.
the mounts, well, the old style mounts for the 20 engines that go on the outside of the, on the outside ring of the booster. And one thing that is missing here from here actually is number one, all the pipe work that's usually ran to these. I don't see them up there. And actually, the methane ports are mounted to the side of each of these mounting positions. And on the newer version of the boosters, they're actually side by side. So instead of having 20 holes up top, or on this lip, there's 40 holes. But either way, this is probably the closest we've seen. I mean, we've definitely never seen a skirt section of the booster without engines attached this closely.
Right.
Definitely never seen the way this inside ring looks like. And one other thing is this stuff on the bottom. This is really cool. The way that they plugged everything up. So these are the 3 locks ports.
Inlets, yeah.
Yeah, for the center Raptor engines, and they have some plugs up inside of those. They look like they're threaded plugs. Luckily, Mauricio was able to. If somebody could tell me
Look at that.
what those threads are,
Dave.
let me know.
Dave Avery.
Oh,
Call it
wait.
Dave Avery.
Oh, that's a date. I was about to say
By the way,
10/27.
you
Never
know,
heard of that.
one detail I really like here, when they're mounting the engines, they have these 2 guide pins right there that just allow them to pull up the engine, put it in place, swing it, lock it, and start hooking it up. That's what allowed them to install 29 engines in a matter of a night back in August. It's now there's a lot of detail work, a lot of fine wires on Raptor 1 that are very much more minimized with Raptor 2. So we should see even some more increases in efficiency there. Also, go
I
ahead.
think a lot of 3D modelers may be rejoicing right now, being able to see these up close, even though it's going to change. So these are where the thrust vector control air actuated pistons mount to. They mount, there's 1, 2, 3 over here. And so there's 1 degree of freedom that's controlled on this side, and then the second one is on the other mount. So on this engine, you would be using this one and this one in order to have your 2 degrees of freedom rotation on that engine. And one other super cool thing, this right here is what they
Ooh.
use to perform the cryo test. So they actually pump the liquid nitrogen straight through basically the equivalent of this right here, the methane port on the RVAC engine mount.
By the way, one random fact, the RVAC engine mount that we're looking at there were pictures online some time ago of them being produced, and the first ones were produced in a third-party facility, just a specialty shop made a few mock-ups that were then delivered to Starbase. It was pretty interesting seeing them get built and welded and folded.
So there was a question about this since we're on this image. Drew Brickell was asking, do you mind explaining while we're on this shot, how the clamps on a booster transport stand or the OLM clamps onto the bottom of the
Nope.
skirt?
Not gonna
Okay.
happen. I got a post
All
coming
right.
up about that soon, and I'm not gonna waste it right now.
There you go, Drew.
Um,
We'll have to tune into Twitter.
Yeah, whenever they put the booster on the launch mount next, be on the lookout. I have a full explanation about how the clamps work. I had a lot of people asking me about it over the last several months, but I've
How are they going to
noted,
find
but
you?
haven't released it.
Are we going to get a teaser?
Well, we actually have all of our Twitter information listed on the bottom of the screen. So if you guys are not following us already, make sure that you do that. Let's see. Actually, hold on. I can't. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. We do have all of our information down there.
Yes.
So we have RGV Ariel, aka Mauricio, Grandpa Joe, Golden Boy, which is me, and Indian Star, who's our fantastic co-host. So thank you guys for supporting us. If you haven't liked the stream already, please do so. It definitely helps us out a lot. And we definitely just want to say, as much as we can, that we super appreciate your guys' donations. It allows Mauricio to continue to do his flyovers. And he's kind of said it before, but I just want to iterate the fact that today was actually, we were hoping to do a flyover, and in those events when that happens, he's still usually booking the flight, and a lot of times he'll actually be up in the air before he realizes that the clouds are in the way. And that really doesn't, you can't just tell the pilot, like, hey, sorry man, there's clouds, can I get that money back? Like, no, you're in the air, man. So just so you guys know, every week that there's not a flyover, he usually is still spending the money on one, whether or not it happens. So, all the support that he gets in order to make this stuff happen so that we can continue to see these photos and analyze it. I hope you guys appreciate the work that goes into it. And also the fact that when he knows he's not going to be able to do a flyover, he comes out here to take ground photos, which is definitely
Phenomenal ground
much
photos.
appreciated from myself as well.
Me
Yep,
too.
and that's no small cost either. That trip down there is it eats up a lot of gas. And Mauricio drives a truck where he puts in a 40-foot pole to get these close-up shots.
You're joking, right? That's a joke, right?
Well, I already retired the pole, but I think it's coming back soon.
Mauricio.
Oh, somebody
love the
returned it to you?
poll.
Has somebody else been using it?
People are gonna start asking what the poll is in the comment section. What are y'all talking about?
The way you said it, you said you retired the poll. Okay, back to this.
No,
So
I want
Sandy-
to. I need to
No more
explain
polls
this
for
really
you.
quick.
Explain it.
We can't move on like this, right? So the
we can't
poll.
move on like this.
We can't move on without explaining what the pole is. Well, some people know the 40. It's like think about it as a 40-foot tripod or a 40-foot tripod, and the camera's on top, and it takes the photos. I control it with the control on my phone, and that's
It's a
basically
selfie
it.
stick,
It's a 40-foot selfie stick. That's what it is.
except the selfie is Starbase, and you're doing the clicking.
Yeah.
I got you.
It's one definite way around the TFR, as long as you're on the ground.
Yeah.
So if we're looking at this image real fast, Senti was asking, is that 20 outer RB mounts rimming the skirt with a ship dome?
Yeah, so this is why they call it the mongrel, because this is a Starship dome with a booster aft section with a Oh, I'm gonna have to go backwards actually. So one more. I am freezing up a little bit. Let me close out of that. So you have a booster forward section, and I think I could be wrong. There's a booster dome on top too, and
Yeah.
there's a Starship Common Dome, I want to say, on the bottom of this. So this is all kinds of messed up in my opinion, and also in Thomas's opinion, which is why he called it the mongrel. So I have some theories
Actually,
about why
Zach,
they did this, but what was that?
correction. There's no common dome. This is just a Starship aft dome. And then I believe at the top, there's actually a booster aft dome upside down up there. If only we
So
had
this weld right here isn't a common dome?
I don't believe so.
Well, this is why I don't talk about starships that much, because I don't pay attention close enough to be able to tell you what's really going on with them.
It's a booster forward dome.
Yeah, I'm the infrastructure guy. GPJ is the starship guy.
Only
But
on
here today,
Tuesdays.
you're an everything guy, and that's why we love you. So there's also a question from Eden8295. It's asking, why are there 4 RVAC mounts?
There's only 3, and then the center is the 3 sea level Raptor mounts. I will say though that Elon has teased that upcoming Starship variants may have 6 vacuum Raptors to just add additional ISP. And you also lose less to gravity loss whenever you're transitioning from stage 1 to stage 2.
So I just want to point out we have, I hope I say this right, Niall Anderson, who is now an RGV flight supporter. Thank you, Niall.
Yay! Well done, sir, man.
Again, if you guys tell me the country you're from, I may be able to attempt to say your name correctly instead of guessing. While I was attempting to figure out that name in my head, I noticed that Rob Shaw said that GB needs a new Mac, which I have a PC, so I'm assuming he's talking about my mic. And Rob Shaw, if those things aren't free, so if you want me to improve the quality of my mic, I'm
Feel
gonna
free
do
to
it over
donate to
time. But
RGV.
thank you, sir. I appreciate you for pointing it out, though. And Rob Shaw is actually a longtime hater who always likes to comment on Zach, and we're also good friends. I appreciate you, Rob Shaw, for being here.
Okay. We still appreciate the guy who donated the $1 for the mouse.
Yes, that was.
And it worked.
Let's see. Dang, I don't want to say the wrong name. Ooh. Where are we?
Here
Looks
we
like
are.
launch site.
Private property, that's where we are.
No, that's right next to the B2.1.
Those are
That's
crane
when you-
weights, right? Right there on the left? Counterweights?
Yeah, that's the actual crane itself.
And there's some cribbing at the bottom and the little
And
self-leveling.
some cribbing.
And there's Terminator legs coming to get us.
And an SPMT.
Self-propelled motorized transport.
I love an SPMT.
I don't know about you guys, but I want to get to the launch site.
Oh, yeah.
As you're
High
good,
bay.
getting to the launch site, can I ask you an RVAC question again?
Go ahead.
Ooh, look who's here. Hello, Jessica Kirsch. The question is, if they place 6 RVACs on the future starships, then does that mean that no landing legs for real? That's what Ryan's asking. Ryan S. Good question, Ryan.
Yes. The first Starship will only have 3 vacuum Raptors, and it will land in the ocean. The next iteration will probably also have 3, and if they do attempt a landing, which I highly doubt for the first, I'll say 5 or more starships, they will not have landing legs because they will all end up in the ocean, which is okay. They're going to be learning a lot. So let's say on magic number 6, they decide that they're going to catch it. It won't have landing legs there. If they decide that they're going to do an orbital reentry and landing on the ground, they might bring back the crush cores. So we'll see.
Didn't Elon say something about emergency legs?
Yes,
In a
for
tweet?
an emergency landing, it will only if it's meant to land on the tower. If it needs to do an emergency landing, it will just land on the skirt, and there will be no legs.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
wow.
that people, for some reason, because of the interior space that's required for the 6 RVACs, for some reason they assume that the legs can't go on the outside.
Why is that? They can
I
go
don't
on the
know.
outside,
Every
right?
render that we've seen of 9-engine Starship shows legs on the outside, but for some reason people keep assuming that they're gone. I don't know. You're gonna need legs at some point, so they're gonna have to be on the outside. I think it's a safe assumption.
Yeah. And one of my favorite leg designs is actually the spring buckle legs, where just a spring curves out from the center, and it allows self-leveling and some shock absorption.
I don't think that's the answer Grandma was looking.
No.
GB, did you happen to see that image that RGV has of the fully stacked tank? Since you're on this image?
Yeah, I think we're about to get to that one. Did I
Nice.
pass it?
Well,
I
it's
don't think I
also
did.
in our, it's in our,
We're gonna get to that one. I think it's
okay.
coming up here soon.
Well, you don't have the photo yet because I think
Is that
they
We
from
just
today?
stacked
wrapped it.
it. They stacked it this morning, but I was out there this morning. I got a shot of
Okie
that.
And
dokie
so it's
then.
called
Let's see if
sneak
I can
peeks.
find it.
Just look where you want to look over in live comms, maybe.
Oh, I got it right here.
Perfecto. Is that like actual cabling? Oh, we'll come back to that.
So right here, it looks like Mauricio happened to get here right after they stacked. I'm guessing this is where the, let's see. Oops. This is where the weld
Wow.
will be. Is this a section that they stacked on top? I hope Mauser's not watching. Of course it
Mauser's
is.
here too.
It's the only one that was missing, dude. It didn't have a top on it.
You do a good impression of Mauser.
That's how he talks to me in person. He's always just
I feel like
angry.
that's how he talks in life too.
It's okay. I love him.
How can you not? He's
So
Mauser.
this is the top of Starship 22, actually, which
Oh.
I think we talked about earlier in the week. If you guys are following me on Twitter, we talked about how Starship 22 is now back in play, and we really don't know which one is going to be the first orbital. It could be 20, 21, 22, or
24.
24. It's anybody's
Mine comes on
guess.
24.
Yeah, don't forget, guys. I said this earlier. $50 if somebody can create a CSI Starbase sign that looks like the Starbase sign at the front of the Sanchez site. So,
GPJ,
and
he said we're out too. We can't even try.
That's
I
okay.
didn't say that. I just said we're going to need some 3D skills. But this right here is something very different from the last versions of the Starship, where we saw them put the basically what was foam wrap on the outside of the Starship. They're kind of installing it as a single piece now. So this is like something that
Oh,
you could
wow.
actually put a part number on instead of spray it on. So a lot of this electrical work is being done before the Starship even leaves the wide bay or low bay. Dang it, mid bay. So yeah, we're seeing lots of things that normally happen on the test stand happen inside the mid bay now, which is a great sign. So this is really exciting. I'm equally excited for the mystery that we're currently involved with, which is which Starship is the first one to go orbital.
So the colored cables, do they mean anything? Are they different? And obviously they're different, but do they have, is one like an in and one's an out type of thing?
I don't know. I think I don't know.
I think the orange ones are electrical, and the others are either pneumatics or hydraulics or data.
Thank you.
I think we have people betting on, not betting, but saying which one they think is going to be the first to fly. It's looking a lot like 24 is the
I'm with Rocket Prophet.
winner.
I
Yeah,
said last
Rocket
time.
Pocket says
No.
24/7.
Yeah, 24/7 has a nice ring to it, but I'm still holding out hope for 420.
You know you're alone in that boat, right, GPJ?
I'm totally
it's
okay
filling
being
with water.
alone in a boat.
It's filling with water though quickly.
It's okay. Whenever I'm right, everybody else can eat crow.
You might want to have some floaties.
It's okay. I still believe. It'll
I think we're
happen.
getting
Good.
to
You
the
should
launch
believe.
site soon. This is still ship 21.
You know Dave Avery Santa Claus, right? So you
Absolutely.
should believe.
Last week, we kind of touched on this. We were talking about the tiles that we weren't sure if whether or not they were broken or if they've just been marked. Just to give you guys a little recap on that. These
Ooh.
either are marks or they're actual cracks. We're not sure because we're not allowed to talk to our favorite tile installer anymore,
Yeah.
but it's okay. Hope you're doing well,
Man's
sir.
got a job to do.
Yep.
Replace all those
Bernard,
tiles.
right here,
What
buddy.
what a hero.
Thank you for keeping this thing able to be re-entered. Matter of fact, we're gonna start looking for your initials. So if you're okay, let us know AB on one of these. We got Mauricio out there who's able to zoom in close enough to pick up your message.
Wow.
I'm still hoping we
Yeah.
get to the launch site soon,
Can you go
guys.
back to, please, real fast? I'm sorry. That just was amazing. That one. Look at that.
It
Wow.
looks like dragon scales. It's just so beautiful.
It's amazing. Well done, Mauricio. Oh, look at those, your favorite.
So one thing I wanted to touch on quickly is we've kind of seen the water sacks that they used in order to do the load simulation test on the chopsticks have either shown back up or they've brought in new ones. And in either case, it looks like they're preparing to do more testing on them. So one option is that, a lot of the work that we've seen on the tower lately, there was an issue and they need to re-perform the same test. Or, in my opinion, I didn't see them test whatever adapter is going to be used to attach to this connection point on the Starship, which I will call a female connection because it's recessed. And the male connection point on the booster is completely different than this. So you're going to need a different type of adapter in order to connect to it. And I'm pretty sure that adapter is already installed on the chopsticks, but they have not actually tested it. So I think that one of the things we could be seeing is them flip that adapter out if it is a flippable adapter and install those same water sacks onto it in order to repeat that test using the Starship mounts.
One question I had that has been answered was why don't they lift the Starship itself as the test? And I think a good reason is that the water sacks that they're using can be rapidly detanked, and if they fall, it's not a full metal canister that's falling that's going to destroy a lot of equipment. It's large water bags that will only destroy some equipment. Also, while we're on this picture, each of those tiles that is a regularly shaped hexagon, those are mass produced. But every one of the other tiles that is either a hexagon that is curved or it's a partial hexagon, each of those has to be hand designed and baked in that size. It can't be broken off of a larger tile. And then generally all of those are glued on. If you notice a little bit of red or a little bit of pink between the tiles, that's the high temperature sealant that is used to adhere it to the ship.
Hey, Grandpa Joe, I got a question. Why do you
Yeah.
think the space shuttle didn't use hexagon tiles?
Oh man. So the frame of the space shuttle, it had a lot of regularly shaped square tiles, but many of them were of dissimilar size. And the reason for that was they had different components that either folded in, folded out, flaps. They just had so many irregular shapes on the shuttle that had to have individual tiles. The whole thing was just an irregular shape, and it had wheels that folded in and out that required a cover. So that's kind of the reason. But if I'm being honest, I think they could have used more hexagons and less irregular tiles if they had. Maybe Elon's just a better designer.
I don't know. I think that for the most part, the Starship is a single shape. So, okay. giving me troubles again. So the Starship is, for the most part, a huge cylinder. So with it being a cylinder, you can afford to use the same shape for, I don't know, close to 90% of the vehicle. But with the space shuttle, the contours of that vehicle changed all over the place, and you can't just fill in those contours with hex tiles. So the uniformity of the body of the Starship allows them to use the same shape until they reach the Nosecone section where they start having to change shapes. And that is the advantage, is that everything below this point is the same, whereas only 2 points on the space shuttle are the same. Like any 2 points are the same, they're probably flipped and opposite, which makes them not the same, right? They have to be
Right.
produced, they're mirrored of each other. So this is a far better design when it comes to reproducibility and the ability to rapidly fabricate these.
Right. Here's another
Let's also
question.
remember.
No, I was
Go
just
ahead,
gonna say
Mauricio.
that we've seen when they static fire ship 20, there's tiles that fall off. Have we ever seen that kind of stuff going on with the space shuttle on liftoff? Tiles falling off, or is it
Mhm.
just
Yes. In
Mhm.
fact, they had some foam fall off that then took a tile off, and that caused the Challenger disaster.
Oh, well.
Wait, was that the
well?
yeah,
No, the Challenger
Columbia
was the O-rings.
O-ring? Yeah, Columbia had the strike, but outside of Columbia, they did have tile failures before. I believe one launch before Columbia, they had a tile that fell off and had to be serviced mid-flight. But here's one of the big differences I want to point out between the shuttle and Starship. The shuttle had an aluminum frame underneath those tiles. If a tile failed, the melting point of aluminum is 800 Celsius. If memory serves, I'm coming off the top of my head. Steel, its melting point is at least 1300. And Zach, please correct me if I'm wrong if you remember a better number for stainless steel. But the melting point of steel is much higher. And if one tile fails, it may be possible for the stainless steel to last that much longer during a reentry, and it might not be an instantaneous failure. And even the shuttle with the 800-degree melting point, it lasted a while before the heat and plasma intruded inside of the shuttle and caused the structural failure that led to its demise. Very sad day. And, there are going to be failures with starships. We're going to find out what the different failure points are that we haven't thought of. But hopefully they work through those before humans climb on. That's not to say that you have to have a stomach for putting people in danger with these things. You just have to minimize that risk as much as possible, but prepare yourself for the inevitability that someday something will happen, and it'll be a sad day. But it's worth
Aw.
it to. I know it is, but it's worth it to get out there.
So something
So,
happening could be good or bad. Good in the sense that we're taking off and going to the moon, for example, and bad in the event that something happens that's not good.
Yep, and let's hope that never does.
And if you go to in California, we have the kaleidoscope where you can actually see the shuttle that came. It's literally hung from the ceiling, and you can see that it's missing tiles and things like that. So it survived.
So just so everybody knows, I am skipping through some of these because I feel like I'm good at reading crowds, and every time we go to the launch site, all of the likes peak up. So we're only at 238 right now. There's 300 of you in here. To me, that says that you
Launch
guys want to
site.
see the launch site, and it also means that some of you may have been expecting aerial photos, which again, we kind of mentioned this at the beginning of the show, but uh, it was a very cloudy day this day. So while Mauricio did have a flyover scheduled, he wasn't able to do so, unfortunately. I mean, well, he did get in the air, and he still paid for the flight, but when he got over Starbase, there was nothing but clouds over there. So luckily, he appreciates you guys enough that he got back on the ground, left the airport, and came here to take pictures on the ground for you. So hopefully you guys appreciate that effort and are willing to throw up a little like on the stream in order to show that you guys appreciate that stuff. And again, thank you guys for being here with us.
Jessica
try
says
and-
launch site.
Yes, I know. She only hangs out at the launch site. Jessica doesn't even know what the build
She's
site
got
is.
good taste.
Neither do I. Yeah, I don't even hang out. I don't look at the build site usually, but
Are
know.
you joking?
I do. I'm not.
He's joking.
The build site is
course he's
irrelevant to me until
Since when?
stage 0 is not complete, so the build site doesn't matter. You're building things, but you can't launch them. So why am I worried about that?
Build site is stage -1. You got to have something to build the machine to build the machine.
Wait, isn't launch site
no.
-1 0 stage 0? Aren't we talking about stage
Oh.
0? What's -1 come from?
That was something I just made up. It's the stage, but it's the stage before stage 0.
This isn't stage 0 yet, because this is what they're doing in order to assemble things temporarily. When they get into mass production,
That's right.
I don't know how. I don't do math when I'm not at work, so I can't really assign a
Oh,
number
my
to
bad.
it. But what I can tell you is that until they start mass producing these, I don't think you can consider this stage 0, because this isn't the mass production facility that they're building here. So it's not part of stage 0 or the launch site. You know what I mean?
I believe these structures
do.
will remain as part of the production, maybe more focused on the starships in the high bay once the wide bay is available. However, these are Pathfinder vehicles they're creating, but I think these buildings are going to remain as part of the manufacturing process long term. I know I wouldn't just throw them away.
I just realized that I may have inadvertently slandered Jessica Kirsch's name and said that she doesn't hang out at the build site. Sorry, Jessica. I didn't know that. I don't hang out at the build site, guys. I was talking about myself. I apologize.
And he does watch your stream every day, Jessica, so he should have.
Well, that's why I make that opinion, because Oh, wow. Here
We
go.
all
I
kind of
think
do. So
some people were adding. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if anybody doesn't watch Jessica, they should. She's like there in the morning and in the night, like well until like there's nobody there. Her, Jenny Marr, and another truck sometimes, if she's lucky. She's always there. She's awesome. Love you. All right, I'm done. Thanks.
Oh, you're good. So, most of you who saw this tent being lifted up last week, it has now been moved on to a new pad in order to house it. And they appear to have replaced all of the insulation and the outer covering. So they're getting ready to zip it up pretty much. I'm assuming all the equipment is inside and they're ready to go. And hopefully, what was that?
Is this a new one that they're making? The large, extra large tent
This
one?
isn't a new tent. They moved this one over to here. It used to be about 20 feet to the right. If
With
you
the
guys saw our last
foundation, right?
episode, we covered these in our last episode. This was the one that the crane had the huge load spreader on, and it moved it over here.
Someone was asking if they got new tents because it was ripped that we saw that day.
Man, they just got a new cover, I think, and boy, they must have either already had that or they move fast and Amazon delivered.
They definitely move fast. I don't know about Amazon.
No supply chain issues here. Stephanie Ball made a great point that one of the dangers of losing a tile is that you could lose the next tile next to it as the air comes under and pulls the tile off. That is definitely a danger and a danger point. And it's also true of the tiles along the trailing edge. But those mostly get crosswinds during launch, which is at a much lower velocity.
Mauricio, did you realize you caught this guy mid-dump?
Nice.
That's some talent there, my friend. Mid-dump.
We got some wind damage over here. Hopefully they flatten that out soon. We're still not at the launch site yet, so I'm going to keep scrolling.
Faster, faster, faster.
Oh, actually, we're going to have to wait here because there's some interesting things coming up, if I remember correctly.
Ooh.
Okay, introducing, ladies and gentlemen, Raptor 2. All of the pipework is now hidden within the engine bell. you really can't even tell that it's even the same engine. And this will be much cleaner than the previous version. Tell your friends
So
you
much
saw
more
it here
contained.
first Raptor 2 to make it to Starbase.
This is the most efficient engine ever built.
It's definitely the most aesthetically pleasing kind.
Wait, where's the
People are gonna
thrust
think
vector?
you're being serious.
Poor Mauricio.
Yeah, for those
Thank
that
you,
don't know,
Mauricio.
it's been out there for it's actually been out there for about a month or two that I've seen it. So
And it's probably 1.5, the remnants of.
Let a guy dream. We haven't seen a single Raptor 2 yet, so other than a grainy photo that other people posted, that's all we got.
Oh, is that the
Is
launch
my
site?
dreams. Oh, Stephanie Ball has a question. Oh yeah, we're finally at the launch site.
Hooray!
Was the tent ripped by the weather or cut in preparation for being moved?
That was a
That
good question.
actually is unknown. There was a pretty big windstorm. However, there's windstorms all the time at Starbase, so I don't know if it was actually ripped due to the weather. But given the state of, I mean, that was one of the original tents on site, so wasn't in the greatest condition. I don't know. Maybe Maria Pointer can tell you guys when it actually showed up. Probably remembers it. And yeah, I mean, it's if anything needed to be replaced on site, it was probably that. And all they really did was just replace the outer covering. They left all of the inner um, insulation and just replaced the outer covering.
So I'm seeing a lot of great comments in the YouTube chat, and y'all please keep commenting. So the Raptor has inlets where you can see the oxygen and methane hugging the nozzle and the bell. And Everyday Astronaut recently released a video specifically covering this, where those inlets circle those high heat areas, such as the throat, and act as a cooling jacket. It's almost like your radiator, where the water flows through and removes the heat, and from there it goes on to the engine. And some of it evaporates and is used to repressurize the ship as well. So good catch there. Now somebody said, "Oh, this is Raptor 1 because it's black. The engine nozzle has been tarnished." Well, all of the engine nozzles are going to be made out of Inconel, which is now cold rolled rather than hot rolled. So it's going to come out green, but I guarantee you, after one fire, they're all going to be charcoaled. And so yeah, we should be seeing them pretty much looking like that going forward.
Everything's better when it's brown.
Word.
Hey, so Mauser's giving you a hard time there, GB. He says, so we're skipping all the good stuff so you can talk about the water deluge.
There is no water deluge.
It's all a lie, Mauser. It's all a lie.
It's all nitrogen deluge.
Yeah. I mean, Mauser didn't ask any questions, so I assume that he
That was
knew
the
everything
question.
that he saw on the way. Like we didn't pass anything that was unfamiliar to him. So, on that note, if you guys have questions, make sure you use exclamation point question when you are addressing us. If you want to ask us something and want us to answer that question for you. Also, super chats are definitely appreciated so that we can keep Mauricio up in the air. Like I said, he wasn't able to do a flyover this time, but hopefully he will be able to by the end of the week. You never know. But I think that was his second time going to the airport and booking the flight for this week. So I don't know. We'll see if the weather cooperates or not. But like I said, your guys' donations go a long way into making it so that he can continue to fly. And if you ever look at a picture of Starbase and see this much water on the ground, that means it was probably not a good week for a flyover. You don't even have to know the date. This probably was not a good week for the flyover if you see this much water down here, because typically you can walk straight across this, and most of this is runoff from rain. Sometimes it is due to tides changing, but for the most part, this is usually runoff from the wetlands during rain storms. And yeah, like I said, anytime you see this wet down here, number one, don't walk in it. Actually, if you do, make sure you film it so that I can watch you get stuck.
Or wear some of the
White
white.
boots?
Well, yes, wear the white boots. They'll keep you
Don't wear the
safe.
white boots. Stay away from the white boots, please. They're
No,
not majorettes, you know.
swear by them. Keep you free from the snakes.
Crazy Cajuns, man. Crazy Cajuns.
I'm sending
Yeah,
Mauricio some white boots.
I didn't know this, but I got stuck out there one time. Well, actually, I got stuck out there this particular time, and I didn't know you can use your floor mats to get out of the mud.
What? How?
Okay, derailed. Tell us the story.
I got stuck out there. Let's see. Well, actually, at the beginning of the photo shoot, when I was approaching the build site, I got stuck for about 10 minutes. I didn't actually use my floor mat. I actually found out later on I could have used that, but I was using other stuff out there at the back of my bed, pieces of wood, piece of cloth, and later on, yeah, if you don't have a 4x4, I don't think it's doable for you guys to go out there to the beach area. Depends on the condition of the sands,
It's
But
like
you will get
quicksand.
stuck. You will get stuck out there if you pull off to the side of the road too far.
I thought everybody
Rule
in
of
Texas had trucks, by the way. 4x4s.
mm, not
Like at least
necessarily.
one of their cars is a truck? No? Was
It
that just a
depends.
California stereotype of Texas?
There is a lot of
Mauricio.
trucks.
Oh,
Yeah, there is a lot of trucks. I can say that.
I'm surprised at how many people and the types of cars that are able to drive on the sand. It's much harder sand than I'm used to driving on, where you definitely need some big honking tires to make your way out of it. So, Mauricio, why do you think they moved Starship 20 off of the suborbital pad and moved it on over?
My opinion is that they might conduct lift tests with the chopsticks using Ship
Mhm.
20.
I think you're right, and I
Good
think they may
call.
be doing a full stack here. I mean, maybe not right away. I said 2 weeks last Saturday, so I give it another week and a half. We might see another full stack attempt,
Can I
depending on the
offer a
wind.
completely different theory?
Yes, please.
You guys ready? Buckle up. All right. So, number one, this is your tank farm right here. The tank farm feeds into the bunker, which is behind the berm. Once the berm is able to switch the cryo tubes or the flow through the cryo tubes into either the launch tower or the launch mount, it also has the ability to. There's actually some pipes that run across the back side of the berm right here, and then come down beneath the berm and attach to this QD right here. You know what? We're gonna go aerial on them, and we're dropping the accent because this is serious, guys. Hold on a second. I'm gonna go pull up pictures from the. Let's go all the way back to the 5th, huh?
Sounds like a plan. Have you guys seen anything about additional lifting arms for the chopsticks while you're looking, GB?
I haven't seen
GPJ?
those. So we've been on the hunt for those, but yeah, the lack of flyovers and the uncooperative weather have kept us from spying such great details.
All right.
Mauricio, do you know when you might go back up?
Weather permitting.
It
Yeah.
depends on the weather, 100% on the weather. What I'm doing right now is just watching the weather. You won't really get a good forecast on the weather maybe 24, 48 hours beforehand.
Okay.
And once I see that the weather is doing okay, so I'll contact the pilot to see if there's any cancellations. And if there is, he'll fit me into his schedule and we'll do the flyover as soon as we can. But as of right now, the next flyover is scheduled for next week. Just because I'm not sure if the aircraft's not available anyways until Sunday. So it depends on the weather and if I can find a pilot to fly me on a Sunday like we were talking earlier.
We'll try to see if we can get you a subscription to live weather satellites.
And a permanent pilot license.
There we go.
So it looks like we have a few. Another $5 donation from Donald. Thank you so much, Donald.
Yeah,
Appreciate your
Donald.
donations and keeping Mauricio up in the air. We also have a question. Oh, actually, that's just Oh, okay. I'm seeing this comment from Stephanie. This is why I try not to read the comments because I get distracted a little bit. So one thing that I wanted to say here that I was kind of alluding to earlier. So this bunker right here, it splits liquid oxygen and liquid methane to both the launch mount and the launch tower. So there is a liquid oxygen, a liquid methane, a liquid oxygen, and a liquid methane. On the backside of the berm, where they come out of the bunker, there are 5 T's. A T is where you tap into an existing line and you basically allow another direction of flow. So while they can test the launch mount with one set of cryo tubes, they can also test one of the 2 staging pads with those sets of cryo tubes. So my theory is that when we saw BN 2.1 and some of the first tests of GSE4 on this launch mount, or sorry, on this staging pad, by the way, this is a staging pad. This is for a booster to sit here. You can see the outlines of the embeds that are in the concrete that allow the booster to sit there. There are similar ones. Actually, I think Starship. No, Starship's not sitting there. The Starship ones are right here, I believe. It looks different from this view. I think they're right here. So because you have 2 different fuel sources, propellant sources, you can have 2 separate staging pads right next to your launch mount. So that means you can do cryo tests right next to the launch mount. And the reason you want to do this is because every single transport stand you have is now effectively also a test stand. So every transport stand they have can be used for testing. And the reason we know that is because of this picture right here. So this is the quick disconnect that they are now installing on all of their transport stands, which connects to the pipes that run underneath the berm and up and over all the way across the backside of the berm and down. And they can either go up to the launch mount or they can go back to the tanks. So what I'm saying is the first tests that we saw with BN 2.1 and GSE4 were using the launch mount fuel system. Now they're finally ready to start commissioning the tower. So the test that we saw with GSE4 last time was actually probably the first test of the launch mount fuel system because they, number one, started it off with purging all of the lines. Anybody who was watching that day saw them purge the lines out the side of the building. Then they immediately started loading fuel onto GSE4 and they loaded it all the way to failure. And we saw the exact same thing happen on the launch mount where they were purging out the backside of the launch mount and then started loading fuel onto the booster. So in my opinion, while Ship 20 is here right now, they're going to perform a full cryo test, including a D-tank from this position, which is something they did not do during the last test because it failed and it exploded. So to me, this is the first step of testing the launch tower. And I really hope that's the case. And with that being said, they probably have more testing to do with weight simulations on the chopsticks before they are going to risk a booster.
You think they're going to go up on the weight or 500 tons again?
I sure hope so. So I
I think
think
it could take it.
yes. And I think the most we confirmed, we may have confirmed actually 600 tons last time.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. I think
I heard
300.
500.
I saw 150 and 150. I don't, like I said, I don't do math. I'm not at work, but either way, let's say it was, let's just call it in the middle, 400 tons. So if you're testing 400 tons on this tower, that means you're giving yourself a 2 times safety factor on this entire system. So if the booster weighs 200 and you test this up to 400 pounds, that means 200 divided by 400, that's 2x. That means you're giving this a 2 times safety factor. Like, just so you guys know, airplanes have a safety factor of 1. If you exceed the weight limit that an airplane is supposed to handle, it will crash. Okay? That is what safety factors mean. If you exceed the safety factor for an airplane, it will crash. That's not the
So-
same for everything. So when you're in an elevator, the elevator, you walk in the elevator and it says the weight limit is 1,400 pounds. So when your grandma walks in behind you, you're like, Grandma, we might be getting close to the weight limit. Don't worry, because you actually have a safety factor of like 1.5 or something for an elevator, which means you can exceed it. If the weight limit is 1,400, you can probably go up to at least 2,000 before you're at risk of the elevator collapsing. So
Wait,
yes,
how? I thought you just said if you go over the safety factor, you're in trouble.
It's
Wouldn't
for
we have gone over
airplanes.
this?
yeah, with airplanes,
And you
you
said
can't
this,
go over a safety factor of 1. Whatever it says
but
it's rated for,
here,
it can't go over it.
understood. Does that apply here too with the safety factor of 2, as you mentioned earlier?
So
It
with
goes above and beyond. Yeah,
it should, but it doesn't. The safety factor right now is 2 because they've basically doubled the weight that they have put on this so far is equal to 2 times the weight of a booster roughly. So their current safety factor is a rating of 2. But in my opinion, what happens if the booster comes down with way too much fuel?
Yeah.
That you can easily exceed your weight of the vehicle just in fuel alone. So the
Okay.
booster is meant to hold 4,300 tons of fuel. You're talking about a system that's only been tested to 500 tons.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So what if it comes down? What if you
Too
abort?
much forced.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You don't want to come if you
Mhm.
come down with that much fuel, then you overload the arms and they fail. And you're not going to overload the drawworks. That's not going to happen. The drawworks is
Right.
rated to way more force than is ever going to be seen by these things. The point of failure is a structural failure of the actual chopsticks, not a mechanical failure of the drawworks. That is never going to happen.
And the chopsticks,
So,
aren't they connected by that
Zach, I've
one
actually,
center? Sorry, GPJ, that one center screw or whatever? We saw that there's only one point that connects all of those chopsticks or the 2 chopsticks together, no?
the
And in theory,
Jesus
would that
pin.
what?
Yeah, Jesus pin. Because if that pin goes, next thing you see is Jesus.
Right. That's what I'm wondering. Is that going to be the point that breaks?
If there's a point that breaks, that might be it.
Which
But
one?
the
The
Jesus
pin, the
pin.
single. Is it called a Jesus pin now? I thought you were
Can,
saying Jesus
can
like
you
in a
guys believe
position.
we've been sitting on the same image for like a half an hour?
Hey
Yes.
Zach, really quick, the safety factor for a plane is 1.5.
Which planes?
Well, I think that's just in general passenger
Oh,
aircraft.
I think I
Military jets are
trust
different than passenger planes.
I think I trust
Where's
Mauricio with
something?
all jet related questions, airplane safety
Well,
questions.
passenger aircraft in this case, but yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just
And by the way, the lifting of the bags, it was 2 times 100 ton bags and 4 times 50-ton bags for a total of 400 tons.
And while we're providing corrections, my manufacturing teacher, you owe me an additional point on my last test because I actually got the answer right according to Mauricio. Thank you, Mauricio.
Boom.
1.5,
Yay, Mauricio.
1 sat factor of safety. I'm not even gonna call his name out because I'm a good guy. Anyways, moving on. Grandpa Joe, there's just so much going on here. Is this a potty?
Oh yeah, it's a party every day down at
Left to
Starbase.
right, left to right. What's going on?
Well, we have a crane that is that's Marvin. That's going to be used to either lift the booster into position or be ready whenever the to lift it off of the chopsticks. To the right there of the crane, you have the tower, which is still under construction. I believe I've heard that there's some more scaffolding that's been added to fix some minor problems. Hopefully, we'll see that go away soon. We have the chopsticks, which are the large black 100-ton structures there hanging off the tower. Those are going to be used to lift both the Starship and booster onto the orbital launch mount. Booster first onto the mount, and then Starship on top of the booster. And extra special for SpaceX, of course, whenever the booster returns, it will land and be caught by those chopsticks. And then we have the most complicated thing by far down here, which is that orbital launch table, the little squid looking thing in the bottom left. I have seen them work on this more hours, more days with more people. It has more pipes than any other part. It's got 20 disconnects underneath, one honking one up top. And my goodness, there's just so much that goes into that launch table. Just everything flows through there. And it's an order of magnitude 20 times more complicated than the launch tables that they launched SN8, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 15 from. So it's really just a marvel of modern engineering. They're continuing to do a lot of work, finishing work, painting work, protective work. The good news is, with a lot of the close-ups we've had, there have been a lot of green tags put on saying this is 100% tested all the way through. We're good with it, and we're ready to put it in production. And then, of course, you have Booster 20, Booster 4 and Starship 20, the first pair of starships that will be going to orbit, allegedly.
Oh, one of the things I wanted to mention was something that Stephanie Ball pointed out.
Yay,
Is that
Stephanie.
this block right here, or the pulley essentially. Actually, this is the block. This is essentially a crane block. This basically gives the Drawworks a 32-to-1 mechanical advantage. So, which means whatever the, I could be wrong, whatever the maximum that it's rated for can be multiplied by 32 over here.
I am amazed at the amount of math you're doing today. Amazed.
I am not doing math. I'm guessing because I'm not trying to correct that. I know
You
she's
did
going to do it for us. It's okay.
400 divided by 2.
You guys, there's a reason that I don't do math. And I like, people think it's a joke, but I literally work supply chain management. So all I do is math all day long. And I'm trying to explain to people like, oh, okay, well, we're actually ordering this amount, yet you're only giving us this amount off. That doesn't really make sense when it comes down to the, you know what I mean? Like I do that all day long. So as soon as I get off work, the last thing I'm trying to do is math. So I'm sorry that you guys hear me say that this often, but I'm very serious about the fact that if I'm not, on payroll for it, I'm not doing math because there's too much of it. You know what I mean?
By the way, while we're here to the far left, we have the pin that Indian Star and I were discussing, the one pin that holds everything together.
The one pin to rule them all.
The one pin to bind them.
The kingpin?
That's right. That's the kingpin. That's right. And if that fails, if it comes down with too much fuel, for example, in your example, in theory, that would be the weakest point, no? That could potentially.
That point tends to be slightly over-engineered, so it may not be the point that fails. We'll find out whenever it happens.
Hopefully we won't.
There's always an opportunity to learn. I'm sure after the first booster catch, there'll be a little bit of rework. Hopefully it'll just be on designated crush points that have been built in and not on the entire assembly, especially that pin.
You don't think it'll hop when it hits the chopsticks the first time, do you? Like it'll bounce?
It has enough thrust to weight ratio with just one or two engines that I honestly believe it's going to land very, very gently. In fact, I almost worry more that they might have trouble with over throttling it, and it almost lands and then takes back off a little bit, and then they cut off the engines and then it falls back down. That might be.
The bounce would be there. That would be a bounce, no?
Kind of, yeah. It wouldn't be a bounce on the chopsticks. It would be a bounce off the boosters pushing off the air.
Everybody is very, very upset about the mechanical advantage quote. So number one, we're gonna clear Stephanie's name because I read her comment and quoted it, but it is 10-to-1, which she also corrected. 10-to-1 mechanical advantage. Everybody, calm down. We understand, and I'm glad everybody is super paying attention in the comments. That is exactly what we like. Honestly, a lot of times I get most excited about the replies on Twitter, so I also appreciate your guys' engagement. And thank you, Jessica Kirsch, for getting us above more likes than we have people watching. She's amazing at that. And if you guys don't watch Jessica Kirsch every time she's live, you're making a mistake.
You're missing out big time.
Yeah,
if nothing else, you can see your boogers at the end, and that's always fun.
She magically shows up at the right time every time. So,
although I don't think she's had boogers yet.
No, I've never seen one actually, even though she's always correcting for them. One thing I want to point out to you guys that a few people, a part of CSI Starbase and other places have actually mentioned, is that the bearings that are on the roller bearings that are on these skates are likely self-lubricating, and the reason that we think that is because of the fact they leave tracks as they go up, which allows the dirt to collect on them because the oil is like kind of being left over as a residue on the actual um, rail.
Tracks.
Yes. So, oh, you can see it even better right here. Actually,
Yeah.
down here, they've started to shave it off. So if you've seen them up on the man baskets during the week, they've been slowly shaving it. You can see where they've been getting in there, shaving everything down. Can't tell you why, but apparently they didn't like the finish. And up here, you can see where the edge of the rollers are going up. And to me, this is an indication of either just general um, result of the force that's being placed on it by the rollers, or actual residue being left behind from the self lubrication system. And given the amount of pipework that's the hydraulic pipework and potentially lubrication that's being sent up here, I would not be surprised if this thing is self lubricating.
Makes sense.
But don't quote me on that.
And did you see Stephanie had that correction for you? She said 10 to 1 the ratio.
Stephanie's always right in the end. Thank you, Stephanie.
I
And
hope
I
one
agree.
day I can hire a team of math students to just handle all of that stuff for me. Oh
That's why
my
you get
goodness.
interns. You don't even have to pay them.
No, I don't. I'm not that guy. I've been in lots of
They're
situations where I feel
learning.
like I should have been paid, and I wasn't. So I don't like to do that to people. You know what I mean?
It's an
Good guy.
opportunity to learn.
I
Anyways,
always pay my interns.
What if I'm the one learning?
well then, yeah, I
Because I don't
mean,
do
you
math.
miss out.
And look at this! Look at this party.
This
That
is
so
amazing.
many-
This has been the scene of the week all week, right, Grandpa Joe?
Man, they are just churning through it. Whoever I told earlier that they were downsizing, no, I was wrong. Look at all these people. No, they definitely United Rentals stock should be going up. I need to invest in them. Yeah, no, they are going full tilt towards this launch table, getting it ready. It is definitely the area of focus here, stage 0. Oh, are they working on the catch
Yeah.
arm?
I think if you guys watched, I think it was episode, it was either 3 or 4, or maybe even, yeah, no, I think it was 4. I was asking Elon. I gave him a list of angles that we wanted to view the landing from. So, we're kind of assuming that, I guess the official list is like 20 angles that NASA gets to request, or 20 angles that NASA streams for most launches. I don't know. Probably got that wrong. But if there is a list of 20, CSI Starbase has requested for this to be one of them. I don't know, guys. Maybe they're installing the one that we asked for, or, you know, transferring it over to public access for us. We're not really going to know until Elon comes onto the show next week to tell us exactly what they're doing here. But I think whatever tests we have coming up are likely involving these structures, given that they're preparing them right now. Uh, we've got actually just a ton of prep work everywhere. This is a big one, in my opinion. So we have not
yeah.
seen. We mentioned earlier the male versus female attachment points for the booster and Starship for the upper lift points, and as far as we know, we have not seen the actual attachment that allows them to switch between the male and female connection. So if there is one that flips out, probably right here, and that's just so happens to be where they're working at right now. And my opinion, I think that the way we saw them load that load spreader onto the booster load points, there's probably a mechanism that's right here that flips over and out, and they're probably going to have a different load spreader to put on that and test
You,
the
you know
with the
what
water
they
sacks
haven't?
again.
Yeah, you know what they haven't tested with the full weight of the water sacks yet is the screw arms moving the fully weighted booster back and forth. So they may be able to simulate that with the water bags, and that might be why they're working there as well. Just preparing those for a full weight test. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see. I mean, I thought this was going to be hopefully a booster lift coming up soon, but as long as they're making moves, I'm really happy. There's a ton of stuff left to be done out here, and there's tons of signs of just knowing that there's more to do. I mean, look at this. They still have scaffolding on the inside of the carriage. The entire time that they've been doing all these tests going up and down, there's still been scaffolding mounted on the inside of the carriage.
There's such an amazing amount of work to do
Wow.
here. This is so complicated.
I know we have a better image of that. I'm not gonna do this to y'all. But look at this. Look at just all this cabling, these flex hoses going. There's at least 12 of them there. Most advanced launch structure on the face of the planet.
And the only one of its kind.
And it also doesn't exist.
And 90% of it built with parts you can pick up at Home Depot.
I'm curious what the other space companies think about this particular idea. I'm not sure if they're going to follow the same footsteps and try something like this.
It's hard to follow something that doesn't exist, in my opinion.
Yeah. If I were the other space companies, I would be losing my mind at just how crazy this is. And if this all works out, I'd be kicking myself. Blue Origin, for example, has invested an incredible amount down at Kennedy Space Center in terms of infrastructure, but they've yet to launch an orbital vehicle. And here we have the opposite, with SpaceX has launched over 100 orbital vehicles, and they have they're still building an innovative ground support stage 0 infrastructure. It's amazing.
Yeah,
So
one thing go ahead.
That
Let me
whole
start.
deal with the,
No, go ahead, Mauricio.
no, I was just going to say, no, you go.
I was going to ask a question is all, so you first.
This is what I do at traffic stops when people don't go. I just take over. So one thing I want to show you guys really quickly is the fact that we have this doghouse down here that is basically mounted over these cryotubes, which are gigantic cryotubes. I think they're upwards of 20 inches thick. They're probably around more than 2 feet thick. Actually, I think the interior dimension is 19 inches. And they have this huge doghouse that goes down here and up into the bottom of the launch mount leg. So given that they've already installed this type of protection so far, it's pretty likely that they're going to go all the way up the leg with that, and therefore all the way around to the booster QD, and therefore all the way around all of this, and all the way down this leg, and that leg, and any other leg that has pipe. Oh yeah, and this flimsy staircase. They're gonna need to protect that too. This is the first sign of the final protection of the launch mount, in my opinion. So
are you saying there'd be dog houses all the way around?
There'd be dogs in the house all the way around.
There are already dogs in the house.
This is the first dog in the house.
Is that where they put the robo dogs, or is that where they put Marvin?
Marvin hopefully is gonna go to, and we're talking about Marvin. Oh, hold up, let's back up. 1 second.
Not Marvin the crane, Marvin the dog.
Oh, I wanted to talk about Marvin the crane because I really hope that Marvin the crane goes back to the build site soon and scraps booster 5.
So,
ideally.
So they have a place to put booster 7?
That would be clutch. I mean, the only reason not to scrap booster 5 is if you wanted, like, if this vehicle was damaged and they wanted to quickly remove all of the engines off this vehicle and put them on booster 5. If it was the vehicle and not the engines that were damaged, that would be the only reason to say booster 5, is if you were worried that you were damaging the internals of this. But if what's actually damaged is the engines, that's a completely different ballgame. Booster 5 does you no good. Therefore, you might as well scrap it as soon as possible so that you can clear up the transport stand that it sits on for stacking booster 7, because you cannot stack a booster without a transport stand.
Yeah, but transport stands are cheap. You know, they can. There might be another one or two in production down at the ground
There are
support
not.
building.
There are 0 transport stands under construction. These things are so large that they cannot build them inside of any of the buildings that they have on site. So they have to weld them together outside. So if they were constructing one, we would know. So the only 2 that exist are this one and the one that Booster 5 is currently sitting on. So if they want to stack Booster 7 anytime soon, they either have to put Booster 4 on top of the launch mount and send this thing back to the high bay and leave Booster 4 there until they have a 3rd transport stand, or they scrap Booster 5, free up that transport stand, and send it to the wide bay. Those are the only 2 options.
All for scrapping Booster 5.
Also, it takes 2 to 3 months to build one of these.
And we saw that live.
Yes.
Or they could launch Booster 4, and then that frees up
Stage
stand.
0 because it would be gone.
Keep the dream alive, GPJ. Keep the dream alive.
That's right.
Sorry, guys. I'm at a stage that, like, you guys asked me questions about Starship. I'm not gonna have a lot of answers for you, but I have a
That doesn't mean don't ask
lot
them,
of
though.
opinions about Stage 0.
You have a lot of opinions about a lot of things, my friend. Not in a
Yeah,
bad
but
way.
most of them are about Stage 0.
I really want to ask in the YouTube chat, am I alone here, or does anybody else, is anybody else still with me that Booster 4 and Ship 20 could be the one to go? If you
You're
are,
alone. You're alone.
I don't believe I'm alone. Somebody out there is with me.
It's okay to be alone sometimes. Some of your
So-
best work comes out when you're alone.
I agree, 100%. Stephanie Ball was asking us about the cable tray
Mhm.
on the tower, and I feel like we're about to see
But before,
that.
there are a couple of questions on OLM too. Don't mind before you move too far away from it.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
So, well, he's looking at the one for Stephanie real fast, so I wanted to not take away from that.
It's going to take me a while to find it, so we can start from the top, actually.
All right. So there was a question from Senti. He says that he thinks that there might be a nitrogen fire suppression in the catch arms. What's the larger white pipe on the top that decreases in size?
On the catch arms?
I believe so. What's the larger pipe that must be around or near the catch arm? And it's white. Must be on OLM though, no? There's no white pipes on that.
I think he may be talking about these hoses right here, or he's talking about the conduit up here, the electrical conduit. Or this pipe this hose right here, which
So you're
is
saying there's
also
lots
likely
of white
conduit.
pipes?
Yeah, you got to be more specific than that. I notice all these pipes on here. I'm gonna give him a chance to respond before we just move on,
Sounds like a
because
plan.
NT knows me. He knows he's got to be more descriptive than that. 420
Yep.
full send. You guys are very dedicated to that.
I think they're just making GPJ feel good because they're good people.
I'm feeling
GPJ, you're
great
still
now.
alone.
Look, all you guys out there, y'all are my fam. I appreciate it.
You said 420 24/7. You make up your mind, man.
Rocket Profit 24/7 all the way.
24/7. I'm with Rocket
Team
Profit.
24/7.
That's right. GBJ, you need to make up your mind.
Wowzers. You guys scare me. All the 420 people kind of scare me. I don't think you understand the stuff that Booster 4 has been through, and you want it to fly.
I
know
think
what,
they're
you
just
know
trying to
what,
make
Zach?
GPG feel
I don't
better.
know, man.
People
Elon,
really
if you go
wanna cheer.
rewatch, if you rewatch the Elon tour with Tim Dodd, look at his back. Look how stressed he was when he was talking about Stage 0 exploding. Look at how stressed he was when he was
stressed.
talking about losing the launch tower. He literally should have ended the interview like right there and got a chiropractor on the scene. He was that stressed about Stage 0. And you guys want to launch the test vehicle that they've been using to proof all of this stuff? You're going to give Elon a heart attack. We want him to live to get us to Mars, not do risky stuff that we should not be doing. You know what I mean? Like,
Zach, 420 is inspirational. It's been
And-
through a lot, and it can survive.
Inspiration
and
4 was
succeed.
inspirational. Okay. 420 did a lot of work for this launch tower and the launch mount. Give it a break. Let it rest. There's Booster 7 and Booster 8 also being stacked right now. We don't need to launch the test subject. Let's launch a launch vehicle. Right? It's right around the corner. All we have to do is scrap Booster 5 and we're good. We need some R2s. Yes. They're elusive. We've never seen one in person.
Few.
But You guys, they moved on from Raptor 1s for a reason. Why would you want to launch with a vehicle using Raptor 1s when they moved on from Raptor 1s for a reason?
I have a very good reason. Raptor 1s have a lot more sensors in them and will be able to provide a lot more data at higher altitudes than they've ever been. And there's a lot of value add in launching a Raptor 1 rather than a Raptor 2. A Raptor 2 is a different engine with different production and different testing needed, but it lacks a lot of the sensor equipment on it that Raptor 1 has, because Raptor 1 was a Pathfinder and it was meant to detect a lot more issues. So I think they'll get a lot more data from a Raptor 1 than they would a Raptor 2.
Possibly. So, continuing on about other new things that are happening here. So we all saw these canopies get installed a few weeks ago, and what they did was they tacked these down up top in 2 locations, I think, on each one. Boop, 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 just to make sure they don't leave. And then they get underneath them, and they're actually, you can see it right here. There's a vertical support that rides along this entire vertical support of the table. So they weld both sides of this. They weld this under the bottom side of this all the way across, and then up and down on the other one, then on the top side of each one. So these plates are about 1 to 2 inches thick. I have not measured them, but they have to fill in that gap, probably somewhere between 2 to 4 passes that it takes to do that. Top, bottom side, all the way around the table. And there's really no way to tell how far they are in that. But yeah, they definitely have to complete that. I mean, we saw them do it the same thing multiple times when they put the table on for the first time. They mounted it, they welded it to the actual top edge of the extensions on the legs, and we also saw them repeat that like 4 or 5 times as they had to fill in those 3-inch welds. But arguably these are smaller, in my opinion. If they're going to cover all of this, it's not going to be with bolts. Probably going to be with welds.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we should see them place them one by one by one by one, and then repeat this process that they've done around the table for every single panel that they need to place here. And hopefully we'll see what's going in between these gaps, because I think there's gaps for a reason.
You think they're going to have enough room to access all this equipment once the covers are on, or do you think the covers?
Yeah, so if you look at it from this angle, this is the walkway. You can see a man. We didn't have a banana, so we had a man right here. You can see
Kind of looks like a banana.
Yeah,
Is he wearing a
banana
yellow hat?
man.
Banana man for scale.
So if you take the roof, which is magically sloped to end down here, right?
Mhm.
So you take the umbrella and you extend it all the way down here. I wish I could draw a line, but I can't. You have
Oh, it
tons
should
of
be
walking
good.
space. Your entire walkway is actually still accessible. The
I know
only
a
thing you
guy
really care
built
about is your box right here being able to open, because you don't want that to, get trapped and not open up, right? Because you got to access all the
Imagine,
panels on the inside.
imagine how dumb they would feel. They weld it all up and they can't open the launch
Open the
panel.
door and you're trying to get the stuff on the left side. Doesn't work, right? You have to take the whole panel off. You have to redo all the welding. Okay.
And that would be because they all enjoyed 420 too much.
Right. Because they're SpaceX employees, and that's what they do because they work for Elon Musk. And, this thing has to extend around the entire launch table. So, a comparison that Marcus House made about, well, I think he deleted the video. I'd like to get confirmation on that, Marcus. Did you delete the video? His
He's there.
comparison
Shit,
for the
crap.
heat energy produced by the Super Heavy booster was 56 nuclear power plants. 56 nuclear power plants worth of thermal energy coming out of the
Mauricio.
Super Heavy booster.
Out of the
Hey,
booster alone?
Mauricio,
Oh.
I thought I heard you. Go ahead.
No, I had a question. I know Elon mentioned that in January, that we're going orbital in January 2022, which is this month, right? Did he take all this into account? Because we've been talking about this for the past few episodes, that there's a lot of work to be done on the orbital launch mount. Did he anticipate that there was this much work, or Maybe is it because he doesn't get briefed, or what's the situation on that?
I think that they had their expected timeline. Most of this material has been laying around site for months, right? That's why it's rusted, because it's been laying there for months. So had they been able to meet their original launch date, this stuff probably would have been installed months ago. So the same electricians that are doing the stuff over here are probably the same electricians that are doing the work on other places on site. They could be working at the tank farm. The welders could be working at the tank farm during the day. And then coming over to the launch table during the night. But if their push was to go orbital as quickly as possible, they probably would have diverted. If the tank farm didn't have the alterations that it had, all of those labor hours when it came to redoing it twice, because now we're entering the same second time that they've redone the tank farm, in my opinion. All of those labor hours, if they were putting them into the launch table, it would have been done a long time ago. A long time ago.
Do
These
you
are the
think the
same
fact?
people. These guys that
Sorry.
are welding up here, they welded everything at the tank farm as well.
I'm just wondering if any of the engineers or anybody kind of just tells Elon, "Hey, man, this can't be done in the timeline that you're asking me to do this." Because I know some
No,
in the
they
comments that
don't.
he's had ambitious timelines for this. We've heard about it in tweets. We want to go orbital. I think he said last year, right? Um, or maybe nobody really wants to tell him. That's my guess. I don't know. They don't want to get fired.
Well,
I
I would like to believe that the dates that he gives us have a safety margin on them, where if we don't do X, Y, and Z by this date, hopefully there's a 2 to 3, 4 year safety margin on that. From what he's actually predicting will happen. But yeah, we're definitely falling short of his goals.
and I think he
And
might use them as motivational pieces, right? He's saying, "Okay, dudes, I've now put it out there that we're going to get done by January, so let's hurry up and get done by January." Kind of as a motivational thing, in a way, maybe. That's how I
well,
see it.
I mean, your Mars transfer windows are every 2 years, right? Unless you want to do the loop-de-loop. I don't know what the actual
I don't mind a loop-de-loop.
orbital maneuver is called if you're launching at the Scott Manley has a video on it. I don't know what it's called, but I will link it in the video later.
I have found the evidence, Zach. Explosive potential.
He didn't delete it?
Oh no,
Did he send it to you?
deleted it, but I found
he send it to
evidence
you?
of it. It's in the
Dude,
production.
I searched for so long. Marcus House, if you're listening, I'm upset at you because that was my favorite video and you deleted it.
Well, now Grandpa Joe has it.
Yeah.
Best saddle up to Grandpa Joe.
Get it back. Back to the pictures.
Wait, I thought you were sending it to me.
It's in production chat.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So did
Cool.
we answer the question if they're going to put shielding all the way around the outside of the launch mount? I believe
If
we
they
did.
don't, then all these little tiny things right here.
Are gonna burn.
Burn.
Yeah.
Burn, baby, burn.
Yeah. I truly think that most of this stuff that we're seeing, we won't see, period. Like most of it.
This will be it.
Just like the Raptor 2, all of this pipe work will be hidden.
Hey guys, is this the
Why do
most
you-
documented launch table ever?
I think it's the only
Thanks to
launch
you.
table.
Yeah, thanks to you, Mauricio. I think it is. The Apollo and the shuttle ones were somewhat documented, but not nearly this much.
But did they have a launch table?
They had a platform. They had a mount. It was different from this, but yeah.
Okay.
Now the Apollo program, the Saturn V had a launch table, and the Saturn 1B had a launch table plus what was called a milk crate to stand on. They had a little extension to help it sit.
Sorry. I'm
And,
just noticing something for this equipment for this bridge crane that I thought was delivered may actually be something different. However, I don't think I've seen the second one arrive yet, which I knew was on the highway and I haven't seen it. tons of, I actually do try and pay attention to DMs and messages and all that stuff and the chat. I like to make sure that I'm paying attention to you guys. I know that we miss questions sometimes, but at the same time, it's good to pay attention to the general vibe. If you guys aren't happy with the stuff that we're talking about, if you don't like the fact that
We want a
it
bouncy
seems
house.
like the orbital is a little bit further than what we think it is, what you thought it was, let us know in the chats. Hit me with the hate. Like, you know what I mean? Let us know. But do it on Twitter, preferably. Don't dislike, because Mauricio puts a lot of work into this. So I don't want your guys' opinions
you're-
about what I say to reflect on Mauricio. So do it on Twitter. Give me all your hate. Like, Golden Boy, I don't think that they need that kind of protection on all these valves and the actuators that they got. You know what I mean?
And if you don't
that they
think
need
it is
to
a
stop
burn.
the exhaust of a super heavy booster, which was the most powerful rocket to ever face the planet. They don't need to stop the rocket exhaust from entering back into the table. They don't need to do that, Golden Boy. We've done this before, except it's never been done.
before.
On this note, somebody asked me earlier tonight, is this water deluge? Huh?
T-Live just hit you with hate.
She hit me with hate?
Yes, she did.
She
You
grew
asked
up.
her to
She
hit you
stopped
with
throwing
hate?
chairs. That's what's up. So,
She's still throwing chairs. Let's not get crazy now.
yeah, but
And let me
Gotta
just say,
like
if you have hate for GPJ or I, feel free to hate on his Twitter. GB's.
Whoa, whoa,
GB's
where did
Twitter.
this come from?
no,
I
I
was just saying, if
actually
he's accepting all the hate, might as well let him
I
have it.
absorb the hate for everybody because I'm
Because he's
Hey,
like that.
guys.
He's like the rubber man.
I have
Ratio.
I have another question here. On this, they're gonna build another tower in the near future here at Starbase. Do you think, based on these launches that they'll conduct on this platform, will the next one have a flame diverter?
if they started digging pylons for the next one and they didn't start doing the flame diverter, then it's probably not gonna have a flame diverter. I don't think Felix. By the way, if you guys haven't seen Felix's most recent video on basically KSC and that operation to transfer everything down there, highly recommend, because I did not know most of that stuff and it was actually very well thought out and well researched. All that being said, I haven't seen anything to show that they're building a flame diverter down at KSC. I truly think that they don't believe that they need it, and potentially just a deluge system is enough. But I also haven't seen that deluge system here yet. The problem with that is that yeah, I'm gonna skip that part of my opinion actually for today. Apologies.
What?
Yep, I'm gonna save it.
Is that like a teaser? Now we
No,
have to
it's
tune
not.
in for next week? Oh.
I'm just strongly opinionated. So
At least
Yeah,
you can freely admit it.
We value your strong opinions. There's a little mobile crane and everybody's favorite Hoppy. That thing flew
GPJ
twice.
is a sweet baby angel. Protect him at all costs, according to T-Live.
That's that
You
gay
live-
lady,
I
isn't
don't
it?
know if I want to scroll up to see the comment that was directed towards me, but I
I think Liv is
I'm
actually
gonna let
Gail.
somebody else handle that for me and send some screenshots, because I don't want to distract myself.
Can we pause and talk about some old news for 1 second? How amazing it was that Hoppy flew. I mean, that Raptor ate itself apart at the end. That thing flew. Like that thing right there flew. It blows my mind. It's so ugly. It's pretty. It's my baby. I got all
feel
the
like you're
respect in the world for a Hoppy. I feel a little pride just talking about it. I'll be honest.
I think we all do. I know there are a
Yeah.
few people in the Lab Padre server who feel strongly about Hoppy.
Shout
You know,
out to El Doggo.
I just
Yeah.
want to point out. I just want to point out that no matter what our average viewership is in here, like last time, actually 2 times ago, no, it was the last time we had up to 500. but it stayed at 500 the whole time. I think this time we've been averaging 300 the whole time. I'm glad that you guys actually stay here to listen to us the whole way through. And you know, we're really. I want you guys to know that we're really trying to improve the content for you guys. It's a slow progress because you know people got real jobs and whatnot, so we have to make these steps as it becomes convenient instead of just risking your real job in order to do these things. But you know, if you guys appreciate the stuff that we're doing, definitely consider becoming a member to the RGV channel, whether that's on Patreon or tipping him on Twitter when he posts his flyover notifications, or on Discord. You know, becoming
YouTube.
a member on YouTube. Always fun to see more people that are green in the chat. You know, I would take this person that's yelling at me. There's a
Who's yelling at you?
there's a chair thrower who's yelling at me, but she's also gray, so I'm not really worried about it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not worried about it.
Oh, why you gotta hate on the chair thrower?
You know what?
She's doing what
Hey,
you asked her
Zach.
to do.
Yes, sir.
Hey guys, I don't think we mentioned it before, but this is the first time that we've done 2 episodes in less than a week,
You're
and
right.
Yeah.
well, I think
Midweek?
it's the start of something new that we're possibly gonna start doing. I don't know how you guys feel about it, doing 2 episodes a week now. Our next episode is now scheduled for Saturday at 12 p.m. CST. Is that correct?
Yeah. And
Yep.
you know,
So
one thing you guys can do as well that I want to add on to all this is if you guys see some mysterious stuff happening around Starbase and you want to know what it is, just throw me or Grandpa Joe or Mauricio or even Indian Star
Or even
a
Indian Star?
DM. Yeah, she loves
Wow.
DMs. Throw us a DM, and if you see something mysterious, if you're a new photographer in the area and you just want to know, hey, what is this? Hit us with
That's
a
my
DM,
line.
and we'll reply back with you know, some information for you. You know, we don't have to just only show Mauricio's image. If you guys are you know, out there on at the crack of dawn, just getting pictures that nobody else seen when they're trying to sneak these cranes away, right? Hit us up, CSI Starbase, Grandpa Joe, RGV Aerial, and Indian Star. And you know, we'll try and do our best to explain these things for you, and hopefully you won't have to wait a whole week to hear it because we'll try and do these twice a week. So yeah, hopefully you guys appreciate it. And thank you guys for all the likes. We've oh, okay, yeah, I was about to say I thought our viewers went up above the likes again, which was gonna be very sad, but appreciate you guys for supporting us. Please share this with your friends as well, because oh wait, Maria's saying we can't do Saturdays anymore. Very unfortunate.
I think she's saying she can't.
Oh, I thought she was telling us not to do it.
Maria's taking over Saturdays.
She's taking over GB's mind. Good luck, Maria. We wish you the best.
Chair fight in the parking lot.
But there's no math on the weekends or when he's not working. At least you're
Yep.
safe that way, Maria.
All right, let's go to the next picture.
Image.
Do you even notice that you're getting love from her now? She killed you, and now she wants to love on you. She's a regurgitator? No. What is it when you bring somebody back to life?
Resuscitator.
Thank you. She's a resuscitator.
Okay.
and one of the moderators link her Twitter or her YouTube below just so that people can, you know, check out her YouTube channel.
Both
I
of
think
them.
she-
I
yeah,
think
she
she has
does.
2 Twitter channels, and
We're talking about Maria, yes?
yeah, she is Boca Chica Maria
Maria
and
Pointer.
Starship Boca Chica.
Yep. Starship Boca Chica.
Yeah.
You know, one of the most surreal
Jolly
images
good.
that I've seen from her,
Sorry.
Maria, I think she took a photo from when she used to live right next to the build site. She could literally see a starship from her, I think it was her kitchen window.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, you know, just think about that. You know, there's a rocket outside my lawn kind of thing, you know.
There's a rocket outside my window.
Yeah, I mean, they always say that anywhere you are on location, if you can see Starhopper, it can see you. That would be absolutely terrible if he was right in your backyard.
My cart. You guys are funny in the chat. Necromancer.
Whoa.
Rocket Profit, $50 donation. That is absolutely
Yay!
amazing.
Whoa.
That's
Thank you, Rocket
a
Prophet.
lot of minutes and flight, I think. How much is $50 in flight? I'll say 100 minutes. Makes me feel good.
No,
Mauricio, I hope it's 100
we would be
minutes.
doing flyovers every single day if that was the case. I think it's a 100th of a
That is
minute.
weather permitting.
So continuing on, I think we're getting. I don't know how far we. Oh, yep. Grandpa Joe, take us away. Do you know what this is?
Is this the new transport stand?
No, this is actually the test stand,
Oh.
which they refitted before they refitted the transport stand.
Oh.
Test article number 1.
You know
for
that there are other
SQD.
people that can help you with these things.
No,
Just
but he
saying.
likes to put me on the spot.
He sure does.
But yeah.
But normally
No,
you
it's
know,
a-
so it's not a problem.
Yeah. That's the Starship quick disconnect up top, and yep.
This is the first Starship quick disconnect. Number 1. And then the second one actually,
It's on
I
the black
believe,
one.
was made for the second transport stand before they even made the one for the launch tower. But all of them are relatively the same. The only difference with the one on the tower is that it has to. It's actually, I don't know why it's shaped differently. I'm not gonna lie. Mauser will tell us on next week's episode.
Mauser can tell you.
The one on the tower, I mean, it looks kind of like a face hugger just latching out. Why do you think they added all those extra spider-like appendages to the quick disconnect up there?
Well, the only reason I can think of is that they were trying to lure Mauser into like being on here with us so that he could explain the differences between the two of them. Like
Seriously,
that's the
Mauser?
only thing I can think of.
Wouldn't it also depend on the ship where these
Yeah.
sockets, if you will go into?
And maybe it'll add more attachment points to help steady it.
I mean, that makes sense. I wonder what Mauser thinks.
Yeah, Mauser's probably watching Sentinel Cam right now. I don't know if he's actually here. So
I think you can count on that.
yeah, one of the
You-
things I
you
wanted
can
to
watch
point
both.
out here actually
Oh, wow.
is the continuous shenanigans that have been happening out here as they've been trying to get rid of booster 3's remaining pieces. It's amazing how long this has taken to get rid of.
Those are some
They're
big bolts.
really going slow on getting rid of that.
Yeah, I like seeing this up close though because it really gives you a view of number 1. I'm pretty sure this is the locks.
Oh. So that's
yeah.
a thrust puck?
This has
half of
never been
one?
seen before. Let's just go ahead and say that.
So if that's the thrust puck, then those pipes there are going out to the skirt to where the Raptors hook up, right?
Right.
Yeah, and you
In
can see that
theory.
they only had half of them connected. So I'm guessing these are probably methane locks, and they didn't have any of the methane connected. So luckily, Elon didn't try and make us think that they were going to do 20-engine static fly. Like, no, you couldn't have done it. You didn't have the pipework to do that.
So are these the connectors? Because if those are injection points that go into the head of the Raptor, is that what that is?
Wow,
See the
look
little.
at that.
That's the inside. Oh, look, you get to see the inside and
I
outside
hope
all in one
Mauser
shot.
is actually on Sentinel Cam and misses all of this so that you guys get to be the ones to be the Starship experts instead
Oh
of
no, we have summoned him. He's in the YouTube chat.
I didn't see
Says
him.
we give him way too much credit. I don't think we give him enough credit. He's the Sentinel watcher. He watches for all of us.
Yeah, so if Sentinel Cam is ever not pointing where it needs to be, DM Mauser.
And I would like to say to PW Nut, shenanigans.
What did
Yeah,
he
I just
say?
like the word shenanigans. And the
What did he
individuals
say?
too.
Shenanigans is a great word.
And a great person.
Oh, I forgot. Shenanigans is a
Wait,
great
hold up.
person.
Eric is here? Eric, is that Eric from Latest in Space? I believe that is. If you guys are not following Eric from Latest in Space on Twitter, you are not a true space fan. And if that's the same guy, if you guys are also following T-Live on Twitter, you will see that a lot of her, not all of them, a few of them are actually directly painted from Latest in Space's photos. And, you know, if you kind of just want to see just the images in space, like what you maybe will get back from James Webb times 10, he always is posting those great things. And I hope that's him. And hopefully he'll confirm it for us in the chat. If not, hello, that was him. He said that's Eric. That's Eric. Actually, that's why he spelled it with an I. Eric. Thank you, Eric, for being here. Good to see you, mate. Oof, look at that.
So when you're looking at this, do you think that they're going to spray a slow thermal conducting layer over the metal? Like a spray-on maybe, or a cement brick? Joe was asking, Joe Anonymous.
Joe Anonymous. I don't know.
I think they're going to use that same SpaceX gray on the table. They could put something ablative, but that might be a bit of a waste. Or they could put an oil resin on it, similar to the old style Japan. That might last just one launch, but I don't know. It's in the air. What would you use, Golden Boy?
I would use a whole layer of metal that covers the entire launch mount.
No, I mean paint to cover that metal, or just leave it bare. Let the rust will all ablate away whenever the launch happens.
They'll probably do the same thing that they've done on the rest of it. Just I don't know if this is the final coat or if it's just primer, but yeah, they'll probably duplicate that.
Wait, I got it. They're gonna take Ship 21's tiles and just super glue them to there.
Look
They're
at
going to
this.
use that other glue, the white one that they put on top of the nose cone to stick the tiles on.
Yeah, the white
forgot what
and
it's called.
red.
Yeah, what's it called? I forgot.
High temperature sealant. It's like RTV or something.
RTV. You think I'd remember?
Sounds a lot like RGV.
Yeah, you think I'd remember?
You called me. You know what?
We've summoned you, Mauricio. Awaken.
I don't know why.
You're still editing pictures from today?
I'm already done. I already uploaded for Patreon.
He put it out there, yeah.
Yeah, I already.
Dang, he's making dinner. I know it. I can hear him. He sounds like he's already had dinner. I'm hungry right now.
So everybody in chat, if you'd like to feed the commentary team and Mauricio and his family, just drop a 20 in chat and we'll take it up.
Add an extra 2.5 on for me because I'm super hungry. Yeah, one thing I really wanted to say about this, which is something that we haven't touched on in a live stream yet, is this. Well, actually, there's two things. So number one, we did talk about this last time. So this pipe that goes up the leg, enters back into the launch mount up here, which would be really nice if you're trying to purge out the entire launch table to stop it from exploding, because, well, you have all these high pressure flex hoses. Flex hose attached right there. It also attaches on the other side, times 6 of them, right? So if you have 12 failure points, actually, let's just say that only 2 of them you have to worry about because it's methane, right? It's gaseous methane. If one of those fails, times 20 in the table, you fill the entire table with gaseous methane and it explodes unless you purge it out with nitrogen. So I personally think this is the nitrogen purge line that enters the table. And there's valves that allow them to either purge it down low, purge it inside, purge it up above, or all of it at the same time. But what I was saying was, this is the flex hoses that come down from the ceiling that are used to start the ATA 20 Raptor engines.
You believe those are going to the quick disconnects?
Not you two.
I actually want to know what country that accent's from so I can adjust.
Oi, mate, if I could be from Australia for a minute. Hi, this is Marcus House.
Stick
Oh,
to
why you
Baton
gotta do that
Rouge,
to
eh?
him? He'll never come back. Don't go, Marcus. Don't let them take
We
you
want
away.
to make Marcus feel welcome.
Your Baton Rouge accent is actually a lot more preferable.
All right.
Talking about Marcus House. When are we gonna bring him on?
Oh,
One of these-
he's welcome anytime.
Oh, he's actually recording right now, I think. Maybe Adam might know. Adam's probably gone as well. Probably recording with him.
Gruck is here.
Okay, he's still here. He's not recording. Well, maybe next time he'll join us. We'll see.
I think you have to ask him. Then they'll join us.
No, he actually knows we invited him, so no invite needed.
Door's always open. Part of the gang. He didn't want his
Space.
picture taken.
I do respect RGV that you always edit out the faces of the staff. You know,
I
if they
think he
wanted to
edited
be
his own
friendly.
face out.
He's
I
probably
was
looking at
about
his
to
phone.
say.
Yeah.
The glare. The glare.
Honestly,
Oh.
sometimes I don't get a chance to throw out their faces, but if I miss something, I mean, I probably won't post it. I won't post it on Twitter if it shows their face for the most part. If I did, I'm sorry.
So, you know how you know that's an electrician there? You don't see a broom or a dustpan anywhere near him.
Wow.
No hard hat.
A hard hat, yeah.
What about all the lines attached to him?
Yeah, I'm
that's
talking
what I
about
do
the
it
other
too.
guy. The other guy.
Yeah, I
sitting
was too.
down.
I meant
She
that.
said, "What about the lines?"
I mean, the
Yeah.
blue stuff, the blue lines. Why?
Yeah,
Why are they not
right,
lines?
right.
I just hating on electricians because they never clean up after themselves.
I know an electrician or two who may take umbrage with that comment.
Yeah, ask them where your
Wow, look
broom
at
is.
this. 1, 2, 3 cameras right there on either side. So that's 6 cameras just in this area.
You're on the chopsticks, yes?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the top of the chopsticks. So this is a crazy angle. This must be from the beach, actually, looking back towards ship 20. It's amazing.
It's-
So they've probably been connecting all this conduit work and making sure that all of the cameras are connected. Last minute stuff, basically.
Is the black long horizontal one also a camera or just the small round ones?
This?
Nope. Next to your 3 cameras that are there, just to the left. If you look at the blue hard hat and look down, you'll see, yep,
That's a
that's
junction box. This is where all your electrical runs into, and they bundle it up in there, and then they run it to the different locations.
it. So it's a plug?
It's a junction box.
box. Yeah.
What
Okay.
temperature do you think that junction box is rated up to? Oh, also, I was thinking those cameras. I mean, I know they're going to be a little bit away during the launch, but they're going to be within a few hundred feet of 33 Raptor engines. What chance do you give those cameras of surviving? Or I'm also doubting those are something off the shelf.
99% survival.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that you could have cameras function and survive that close to that much firepower.
Right, those
Twice
cameras
as
look
much
like
as
yeah, they look like they have some special covering around them, so I think they should be able to withstand a lot of damage.
Yeah, I think if I had to guess, they probably use these same cameras on the bottom of nuclear reactors in order to watch the reaction, given the heat that's generated. But I'll let Marcus House answer that one. Oh, molar scaffolding on the inside. Look at that.
skate.
Wow, that's a really good photo. I did
I
not.
actually don't think I've seen that before.
I was just going to say, I don't think I've ever seen
I
those.
did not
3
know there was a
rollers.
leading roller. All right, everybody in the chat, let us know if you knew there was a leading roller. If not,
Or
if
is
you knew
a-
it, then I'm going to retire from CSI Starbase and put you in charge. So let me know who I need to email.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, exactly. We'll wait. We'll give you guys a second to see responses. 'Cause we have a
GBJ,
little bit
now's
of
your
delay.
time to take the throne.
You know, I always thought there should have been one, but I looked for it and I've never seen it before. It just didn't make sense. They didn't have a roller there on that side. I look for it, and no, this is the first time I've seen it. Good eye, Zach, on catching that this time.
Hey, that was pretty good Australian accent of yours.
Wasn't even trying that time. That was just my natural accent.
Which
T
one of
minus
those-
Liv knew it the whole time.
She is amazing.
I know.
Y'all
Of
wish
course
she
she
could
knew
be
it.
T minus Liv. I know I do. How do you know which one is the lead roller, by the way? Probably a ding dong question, but I'm curious because I'm a ding dong.
It's the one that leads the way up top.
GPJ. I didn't need the definition. I just wanted to know which of the three rollers was the lead.
Oh.
You guys remember when that roller fell from the crane?
That was crazy.
Oh God, yeah, the skate. God, that thing must weigh a couple 100 pounds. Not that, maybe not 1,000.
GPJ, Mr. Rob Shaw has the same question I have. What is the leading roller? Which one is it?
All right. Do you see right on top of the skate on the rail to the left? If only I had a mouse to control.
Yeah,
only I
sorry
could
about that,
zoom.
guys. I had to step away to have a one-on-one conversation with my stomach. Let him know it's going to be all right.
On
Yep,
the
go ahead,
leading
zoom in.
roller, that one right there, that is the leading roller.
Which one?
To the left and
Uh,
up. Right there.
so there's not a matching set on the other one that we can't see?
It looks like I see two bolts. It looks like there is one on the other side as well. But you can't see the front side of it, just the back side.
Yep, you can see the tiny roller right here. And then there are side rollers right here. And the rollers that go along across the side are actually barrel shaped. So 1, 2, there's 4 of these, probably 4 or more of those, and then there's a whole bunch of roller ones in the middle. I don't know the right term for those, actually.
Middle roller? Secondary roller? Not leading roller?
The surface roller?
We're going to keep making up names. One of you
Oh,
guys
we were
will like them.
just trying to help, man. Just trying to help.
I don't have the answers. This is another example of that same secondary roller on the side right here.
Oh, and we can see the leading roller on the other side there. Yeah, look,
That's
and
not
it's
rusted.
freshly covered with tape. That's how you know it's new.
Are you being funny again?
Oh, that's type.
Blue tape.
Oh, I
Oh,
thought you were talking about the red tape.
even I. That's not tape, though, the red stuff.
That's rust.
You were right. And you thought you knew nothing. When we were looking at those cameras, the
Wow.
Matthew Harris was asking about the cameras. Are they just for streaming or are they feed to some program for positioning and chopsticks on the chopsticks? Do you know?
We're going to have to wait for Elon to come on here and let us know.
I would suppose the answer is yes. It's for both. Elon can confirm, though, whenever he comes on the show. Was it next week, or did our people get with his people yet?
It would work for me better next week because I think my birthday is coming up pretty soon after that one. So maybe a tight schedule, but like I can fit him in if I have to.
I feel like
We'll
a birthday show's in the works and we should have him on your birthday show.
Absolutely not.
Oh.
I'm trying to take a vacation.
From who? Us? Never.
From Chicago. I live
That's
in
fine.
sub-zero temperatures for 3 months at a time. So I want to travel to the opposite side of
Chicago?
Come on down to the
no, the
lovely
world.
Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge.
You want to go to India?
I
Wherever
kind of want to go to India. I think
Let's
that'd
go.
be
Let me know. We can go. You won't have to pay for a hotel anywhere.
nice. We can go visit Israel.
This is the
Where?
first time I've seen this cage that goes around the inside of the.
Yeah, Indian Space Agency.
Oh,
Hey Zach, I have a question for you here.
Mhm.
The down here when it gets really cold for weeks and on end, me personally, I feel like it gets really gloomy and depressing sometimes. Does it feel like that where you're from, or I mean,
Dude,
that's just a question.
I haven't seen the sun in like 6 days.
he lives in Chicago.
Right. That's why I asked. Well, when I see the sun, I get really, your personality changes. You feel happier.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Definitely.
I don't.
People that know me really well can tell how many days it's been since the sun's been out based on how I'm talking. It's been about 7 days right now. If you guys watched the last episode, GPJ and I were joking around a ton. The sun was out when we did that episode. So here we are 7 days later, monotone.
I live in California. Can you tell? It's always sunny here.
This is why we can't be friends.
This is the reason. Oh.
Anyways, you see a cage on the inside here. I think we're entering the back half of these pictures. I think we're getting close to the end for our production staff, so I want to be mindful of them for staying here this entire time with us. Thank you guys so much. But at the same time, wow.
Look at all those sensor boxes and relays. What are they having there?
I really hope they cover all of it.
You're the cover master, aren't you?
Well, it's a cover-up.
Cover-up artist.
CSI Starbase, we will investigate every cover-up that SpaceX chooses to engage in. What?
Foundation is a cover-up.
Why would that happen?
Just saying.
Maybe a man lift bumped into it.
Like that? In that specific spot, only on that piece?
I
have to say you're incorrect, GPJ.
That's a good one right there. Nice. Very nice. That's what happens when Buckner is not in charge of the LR 11350.
Merely a flesh wound.
By the way, people have been sending me pictures of the new LR 11, or was it 1300? 13,000? Sheesh. Look at this. Look at this. This is what it looks like when somebody with a Hellcat enters your neighborhood, usually. You will
no
usually
traction
be left.
Control.
No traction control, just straight roasting tires all the way to the exit of the neighborhood. Yeah, I like I said before, I really think that these are lubricated bearings, and that's why we're seeing this residue, or it could just be the fact that this is the first time that they were using them. Yeah, there's really no way to tell, but they've been shaving these off for a reason. So I don't know if they planned to have to do a finish on this, or they weren't expecting this amount of force potentially to be pressed on this side, and it actually is like a result of uneven balancing or something like that. Highly doubt that, but it is a possibility. It's on both sides. I would have to see the other side before I retract that statement. So if somebody has a picture of the backside, let me know.
Why wouldn't the uneven balancing be an option? Because if you look at it, in some spots it's darker than others on the same side. Like the two are adjacent, and the right one will be darker than the left one. Wouldn't that be what you were saying?
Yeah, on the opposite side, it would be lighter than this side.
No. Within the same side, if you're looking at those tracks, you can notice if you go closer that the right side will be a little bit darker than the left side sometimes. So you were talking about the unevenness of this. I was just pointing out that could be true.
Yeah,
could be adjusting it.
I think so. I mean, I was thinking more of, instead of like side to side in between these two, more of from this side to that side being uneven. So
I agree.
Having the skid marks here instead of on this side. But I haven't seen that other side. So, oh, Stephanie Ball, cable chain. She has to see it. There it is. We don't have the whole view of it, but you can see the edge of what it looks like with all the, they got the electrical lines going down the right side of it, which looks to your left, actually, because you're in Europe. So this is the links of the cable chain. And this right here is the tensioner for the Drawworks cable.
Oh, really?
Yes, it sticks out from the side of the tower. The Drawworks cable comes up. This thing keeps it, instead of having a whole pulley here, not a pulley, a shiv, they just have this tensioner right here in order to stop it from whipping back and forth, essentially. If you ever listen to any of Jessica Kirsch's streams, you hear the cables constantly slapping back and forth. It's not coming from this side of the tower. I can tell you that. It's coming from the other side.
when Gazer's doing it too, when he was on last time in streaming in the daytime, you could hear those cables going.
Yeah, it's a high wind thing for sure when you actually hear them. Allegedly, these cables are 4 inches thick.
And hopefully Gazer's feeling better.
Yes, shout out to Starship Gazer. If any of you guys aren't Starship Gazer patrons, or were in the past, just know that he has taken a break from posting pictures because he recently had surgery. So it's not that he's, not trying to gift things to, or, give things out to his audience as normal people do on Patreon. It's just that he's been sick. So if you maybe unsubscribe because you thought that he wasn't making it worth it for you, just know that he was actually sick and he's trying his best to get back healthy so that he can come out there and continue taking amazing shots for you guys. So, if anything, right now is the time to support him even more than you were in the past. Because, we want to keep all the good photographers out there. So I hope that you guys appreciate the content that he's putting out enough to be willing to do that. And versus, well, I'm not going to throw verses out there. I just hope you guys, appreciate him enough to donate to him, to just keep him out there. You know what I mean? Like he's definitely equally talented as far as capturing things up close. It's very few people that take pictures of things and know what they're taking pictures of. When I look at Mauricio's pictures, I can usually tell what he's focused on. And I know that he meant to take the picture of the thing that he's taking a picture of. A lot of other people, I see images that they post and I spot things within the image, but this is the one thing that's out of focus. So I know that they were actually looking over here. You know what I mean? If the thing that's to be seen is over here, this is what's in focus on both Mauricio and Starship Gazer's pictures. That's, in my opinion, the difference between them as far as photographers go, because they know what they're looking for. They're not just taking random pictures. Like if you watch any of Starship Gazer's posts on Twitter, you will see that whatever he wants you to focus on is centered in the screen. And it's not off to the side. And Mauricio as well, because he's equally as talented. So thank you, Mauricio, for being able to go out here and do ground photos when you get disabled from doing the flyover. We super appreciate that. And I honestly, I never know when he's going to do this. I just get excited every single time because he surprises me every time with just the way he steps his quality up, the way that he just, like I said, takes pictures of things he knows we need to see. So I hope you guys appreciate the work that goes into being able to do that stuff. And we all right, I just got caught off guard because Stephanie said I'm Australian and I was giving her a British accent. So
that was his Australian accent, Stephanie.
Awkward. Yeah. It's actually doesn't have a home. It just is an accent. It doesn't belong.
And it depends on who he's around.
Hey, y'all, I'm back.
But going back to what you were saying, if you do really like what you see, go ahead and tell Mauricio how much you like it by showing us your likes, by donating to his stream. You can do that by becoming a Patreon member. You can do that by becoming a YouTube member. You can do that on Twitter. There's lots of ways to show Mauricio, to show RGV aerial photos that you are enjoying what you see. I know I do, as much as I can. And correction there, sir. You were talking about 2-inch cables. I believe they are 4-inch cables. Thank you, Mr. Avery.
Yeah, I said allegedly these are 4-inch cables.
Oh, it's allegedly? Oh, Dave, allegedly.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not. It's too much math to measure.
It's not math to measure.
I trust him. It's 4-inch cables. Dave says it. It's 4-inch cables.
So I would like to point out one thing here. Those square columns are just full of concrete that helps support the weight and keep it from flexing and all that jazz. Just massive amount of concrete has gone into this thing. I think Phil Kid said it's not so much a steel tower as a concrete tower with a steel case around it.
He absolutely did. And he's not wrong.
Very rarely is.
I really try very hard not to read comments because it actually distracts me if I read them, but you guys are hilarious. I'm not going to lie. I'm just reading through these comments. This is exactly why we shouldn't read through comments.
Exactly. Bye, Maria. Take care. Thank you for stopping by.
Bye, Maria. Speaking of reading through comments, are there any questions we haven't answered?
We actually have quite a few.
Oh, do you want to lightning round them?
I'm good with lightning round them.
Lightning
All
round while
right.
I go through the rest of these images.
So
Yeah.
do you want to do the images? Let's not talk over
Nope.
them.
Lightning round.
Lightning round it is.
I'm
Could the
hungry.
boxes-
I haven't eaten. So.
Aye, Capitan. Heard. Could the boxes on the
right.
carriage be PLC cases? Stephanie's asking. Pieces of Mechazilla's brains.
Oh,
Sorry,
programmable PLC is a programmable logic circuit, and yeah, that is kind of one option I was thinking of. They could be sensors, PLCs, control. For all we know, they could be Raspberry Pis hidden in there
Ooh.
somewhere.
How cool would that be? Rob Shaw asks, when you were talking about leading rollers, is there not always a leading roller then, based on what you were saying earlier?
There is now. There used to not be.
Well, you
Oh.
can see right here that this is a leading roller and this is a trailing roller. Which somebody who's really good at math can tell you what that means if they're bracing it in this direction differently than they're bracing it in that direction.
Wow.
And also make sure in the credits of your video that you thank Mauricio for providing you with this angle of that, because like I said, I've never seen that before. I've been scanning this stuff pretty closely. I did not realize that there was a different trailing than following angle. That was not the word I meant to use, but we're going to roll with it.
I'd just like to point out that Zahi Prince donated 100, I believe those are rupees? I don't know what those are. I'll look them up. But the best is the comments. CSI Starbase, I don't enjoy your commentary. I'm here only to support RGV. Thank you for supporting RGV, despite your dislike.
Well, that's legit. I'm going to try next episode to talk even more. But I appreciate you for supporting Mauricio. And
We
also,
do, truly.
there is a mute function on the bottom of the video, which I also use so that I can watch the video while reading the comments. So if you just hit that mute, then hit the like, then we're all good. And I apologize. I don't have the quite sexy voice that they have in the UK. So,
Well,
you know,
and
I just work with what I have. So,
All right, and
could
it's
just be
our
letting you
lightning
know.
round.
Yeah, he could just be letting you know that he doesn't like any of us except for RGV. So it's not just you, my friend. So, okay, next question. They're asking if you saw a new tank at the production site, and do you know what it is? That was
yeah. So we talked about those in episode 4, I think, and 5. So I won't go over it right now because we've already kind of covered it. If you guys want to watch that, then it's in the 4th and 5th episode. Those tanks were delivered roughly 3 weeks ago, and we've kind of seen them start preparing for that. Also, if you've seen Jessica Kirsch's stream, she has covered pretty extensively the way that they've been removing all the cryotubes from the front of the tank farm. So you know, I won't double cover the stuff that Jessica has already covered. So
no double
yeah.
cover.
No double
So,
coverage.
a
Unless you're
correction.
trying to lose like sorry, I won't name your team.
A correction to the correction. Those 4-inch cables are actually 2 inches. I went the wrong way.
Oh,
So
This
I
is
got
why I
corrected,
don't do
and I was
math when I'm
correcting
not at
you.
work, because you just open yourself up to exposure of risk, but you're not even getting paid.
Well, I didn't even do math. I just read Dave's.
I just don't even
update
talk
and
about the
correct.
numbers. You know what I mean? Like that's how
Yeah,
you.
did though.
Yeah.
oh, did we get anything on the cargo doors for Starship? I feel like that was something big.
Not yet though.
Yeah, that's on the
Right.
way out, buddy.
He did last time.
No,
So-
you skipped right through it, Zach.
I think it's on the way out.
Well, then we need to get to that because
I know.
I need to see me a cargo door, please, and thank you in advance.
Thanks, Mark Stidler.
Thanks, Mark. Now we're doing a lightning round of photos, perhaps? I'll take that as a yes. Thank you, gents.
I didn't get a chance to respond. I'm trying to figure out how far ahead we're going to go.
Hey, GPJ, do you know if the sophisticated cone radar on top of Hoppy is for tracking purposes, for tracking the incoming booster?
You mean the marine radar?
Sure.
So yeah, there is a marine radar in there. We're until Elon comes on, we don't know for sure what everything does, and maybe Elon doesn't know either. But no, I'm sure that's for tracking something through the fog. But Lord only knows what it is.
Booster, perhaps?
It could be. Or it could
Starlink?
be for. No, I don't think it's for Starlink. It's radar, so it'd be bouncing off physical objects around the site. So it probably is capable of
enough.
detecting a lot of things. If Hoppy can see you, SpaceX can see you. If you can see Hoppy, Hoppy can see you.
Is that true?
They
I
have a
feel
lot
like
of
I could see
cameras.
Hoppy and he couldn't see me.
Hoppy's got a lot of cameras, and the security guards are very nice. They're very polite, but they're always watching just to make sure nobody causes any trouble.
Like Thomas.
Yep.
Oh, just so you guys know, Jessica Kirsch showed this yesterday. This entire cryo line is now gone. What used to be
What?
the new proppant loading lines for methane are now removed all the way up to this point right here, as they, I'm assuming, are going to remove this concrete wall and build 2 more mounts for additional methane tanks.
You know how we said that the 2 nitrogen tanks, there was no groundwork to lay those nitrogen tanks down? Well, if you look right here, look at all this groundwork being done. Something's about to go right there.
This is where those tanks are coming.
And don't feel too bad, CSI Starbase. Mr. Prince donated 100 again of the currency that he uses, and he donated it actually because he liked the way you responded to the reason why he doesn't enjoy your commentary, and he likes myself and GPJ. So he actually likes all 3 of us, and he donated
what?
again. Thank you.
You're the
Well,
best.
I'll address that. You know, I actually put far more work into what I do than anybody who's here is able to really comprehend. Like, I have a full-time
Whoa.
job. I work 40 hours a week. I've also spent probably about 2 years analyzing all of this stuff far closer than most people have the capacity to do. So when I condense something that takes me 2 years down into 30 minutes for you, and then people respond with comments like that, then
And
yeah,
he's
I'm
actually
gonna feel a certain
complimenting you.
kind of way about it.
And he's
And
complimenting you.
I want you, and I'm saying this way I'm saying it because I'm online a lot and I see people constantly say things to Mauricio or Cosmic Perspective or whoever post pictures. Oh, that's old, you know? Yes, guys, it's old for you because you're so used to being overexposed to constant 24/7 coverage of Starship. But please do not forget the amount of work that people put into bringing the stuff that they bring to you, and also be conscious of the way that the comments that you make them feel. You know, I've personally seen Jessica Kirsch, as an example, have the most ridiculous things said to her on live streams. You know what I mean? And a lot of people do not care about other people's feelings. All they care about is immediate gratification. And normally, you guys will never see me go off on something like this, but I've been seeing it a lot lately, where people don't care about feelings; they only care about content. So maybe you should consider the people that you're talking to as people when you say things like that, because it takes a lot for Mauricio to come down here and take these pictures. It takes a lot for me to get off work and come down here to talk to you guys right after work. I haven't eaten yet today. So thank
So
you.
this is angry, Zach?
That sounds a little bit, but you know what? Zach's right that you know, Zach has put a lot of time in this, and I know I personally have learned a lot listening to you, Zach, and I
Me too.
appreciate everything you put in and
too.
the hours you put in. I know I study different parts of it, but man, I pale in comparison to you, and you educate me every day. I
Me
really
for
like, I really like being here, and I know Indian, if she could be here, she'd love to say the same.
I am here. I did say the
joking.
same.
Well,
So I do want to
on
say
that,
before we move on, Zach, before we move on, I think I appreciate all of you. You know, I appreciate the work all of you all put in. You know, I think I see it as an equal. You know, everybody puts in an equal amount of effort into this. It's a team effort. I don't want to say that one person puts more effort into it than other people, but I do appreciate
Mauricio for the win.
everybody. And you know, I like you said it, Zach. Team space, right?
Team
yeah, for sure.
space.
And like, you know, I'm personally, I'm constantly on the lookout for everybody that I care about in Team Space. If Jessica is posting a live stream, if Starship Gazer is posting a live stream, if I see something on Lab's stream, if I know that Mauricio's out there, I repost people's stuff immediately. You know what I mean? I have to, mind you, like I said, I have a 40-hour week job. I am doing that job, being a supply chain manager for one of the largest companies of our kind in the United States, while also trying to like entertain people. And also, you got to consider that other people that are providing you this content have real jobs as well. Mauricio has a real job. Sorry, I don't want to say a real job. They have a full-time job. Mauricio has a full-time job.
Paying
Lab
job.
has a full-time job. Starship Gazer has a full-time job. Okay, so
So we
I don't
just
know.
want to thank you.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
you know, just be considerate of that when you guys see a lot of this content, because everything is not always going to be perfect to what you want to see. You know what I mean? Like, we're only on our 6th episode in, and we're really grateful that we even have this amount of people here on our 6th episode. So, thank you
And we
everybody who
are.
showed up. Thank you, Maria Pointer, the first person ever to document SpaceX. Thank you for coming here. Thank you, Marcus House. You know, one of the most thorough documenters of SpaceX. I believe Felix showed up, right?
I
Felix
didn't
show
see
up
what
today?
about it. Not
I
what about
actually
it.
think okay, sorry, I thought that was Stephanie then. Um you know, Lab, all of the supporters who are also content creators. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but like sometimes content creators just donate to each other. You know what I mean? Like I've seen Lab donate to Jessica before just because other people weren't donating during the stream. You know what I mean? Like he wants her to keep going out there, and he'll do that kind of stuff. Like we support each other all the time, and I'm really grateful for this community that we have the ability to do that, even
Mhm.
when you're at times like this where you know, the launch was expected months ago, and we're still trying to just, you know, continue to cover it until it actually happens. So, you know, I'm glad that you guys are like real Starship addicts and are willing to be here when we're in this lull period of just waiting for the first orbital flight. And yeah, like I said, I don't know, Grandpa Joe, if you have anything to add to that.
And, I'm just so proud to be a part of Team Space and all the great people here. I mean, from all the cameras to the commentary to the analysis, everybody who gets on Discord, YouTube chat, the folks who watch us, and the people who just cheer SpaceX along. It's just such an important mission, and I'm so proud to be able to witness it in my lifetime. And I'm so happy to be able to do it alongside friends. So here's to all the friends and all the great space and the great future ahead of us. Horatio?
Well, I think I've said it, but I appreciate you guys, and I do want to thank everybody that's involved documenting Starbase out there. The photographers. Um, I do want to get some on here just so that we can, ask them questions. And if you guys know anybody in particular, just leave them in the comment section. I know I talked to you guys about bringing on Carlos Nunez onto the live stream so that we can talk about his workflow, maybe ask him questions about what goes on behind the scenes. It's not all about just going out there taking photos. There's really, there's a lot of, well, on my end, there's a lot of behind the scenes that goes on with booking the flights, checking the weather, um, scheduling wise. It's really hectic out there when it comes to getting this out to you guys. And most of all, I want to thank all the viewers and the subscribers and my followers on Twitter for supporting us throughout this process and allowing us to create this type of content for you guys. If nobody's watching our stream, or if there's really no point to some extent, even then, I still think we would still be doing these streams, if we had little to no viewers, but I think we'll get there. I think we'll get to a point where we'll have a bigger audience. I see that the feedback on these live streams, it's been really positive. That's really what I want to spread. I want to be positive throughout this whole process. I've talked to you guys, and I just, if we can be positive about everything, and even the feedback that we get, from some viewers, just take it with a grain of salt. Don't let it affect you. Just, you know, don't let the negative affect it too much, or change your mood in that particular way.
Don't let them steal your happiness.
All right, guys, let's call it a night.
Sounds good. Thank you guys for
Amen.
joining us.
An engine cut off, stage separation confirmed. Love you. Bye.